So welcome to this week's episode of the Nerd Eye Council.
What?
Three white boys grooving.
Yeah.
What up?
Well,
New week, new episode, and semi-new topics.
Yeah. It's Black History Month, baby. Represent. Just saying.
Yes, and I am one of the hosts, Nate the Gray, and I am joined by my colleagues.
Darth Payne in the house.
Wreck-It Ralph, as usual. Wrecking it.
Wrecking it.
Wrecking it.
And of course, we will try to keep you informed, entertained, and perhaps have a laugh or two along the way. This week's episode...
Character dissection.
Yes.
So we had this idea to mix it up a little bit because it seems like there's not much in the news other than Batman and Star Wars, which are two of my favorite subjects. But we don't want to beat the drum to death.
Well, it's just kind of hard because DC is a total fucking screw-up, according to rumors coming out.
Yeah, we'll get to that. More DC. More DC villainy. But we're going to do, for the most part of the podcast, we're going to do a character dissection, a breakdown, a psychological breakdown.
Ooh, big word.
Of the man that we call Batman. So, of course, he's a very intricate character. There's a lot to talk about in regards to what makes Batman Batman. Murder, death, psychosis.
Sex appeal. That's just me, my bad.
Living with a butler your whole life.
You know damn well Alfred's getting in there with that little Bruce Wayne ass.
And then we'll touch upon a couple other subjects
Master Wayne.
before it's all said and done. But Wreck-It Ralph, who is the Batman connoisseur,
Yeah.
what do we know about Batman?
Well, we know that he witnessed his parents being gunned down in front of him, Martha Wayne and Thomas Wayne.
In Crime Alley.
Yes.
I was always wondering, was it Crime Alley before that happened? Or did they rename that alley?
I would guess it has to be after, because why would you take your family down to crime?
That's what I always wondered when I was like, wait, they go see rich people go see a movie and then
Right.
they walk down the seediest alley afterwards.
Yeah, right down Crime Alley. They probably would have renamed it Murder Alley afterwards.
It was probably Thomas Wayne Alley, and he's
Thomas
like,
Wayne
let me
Alley.
show you the alley they named after me.
Yes.
It's got a lot of dark spots, you know.
Alright, and then he's an expert at martial arts, high-tech equipment, and weapons. He is a partnership with Robin, Batgirl, Commissioner Gordon, Superman, and Wonder Woman. He is a genius-level intellect and peak human physical and mental condition. Meaning he's a badass.
So you did some research into Batman last
I
night.
just copied off of Wikipedia.
One of the things I was going to bring up is his training,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of discrepancy about his training, about those years that he left. According from what I remember to the comic books that I remember reading, he left around age 18. Did you look any of that up? Did you see? No.
Seemed about right.
From what I remember about the comics, he left around 18, maybe a little bit before that, and then was gone. Being, if we follow the lore of the comics, he was traveling the world,
Mm-hmm.
learning martial arts and different forms of weaponry and self-defense, and the comics. The comics say that he was trained by the League of Shadows, but then in the movies they also show that. In let's say in the Nolan movies, because they don't go that far into it in these newer movies, in the newer DC universe that is crumbling. But in the movies, they make it seem like he was, number one, he was a lot older when he hooked up with the League of Shadows. And number two, that the training was, like, specifically with them, and it seemed like it was brief. According to the comics, it was, like, years. But, I don't know. There's a little bit of... I wanted to bring that up because there's a little bit of gray area about his training. And Batman's training is quite... It's very important to the character. I mean, there's not many other superheroes that went off to learn their superpowers. You know. Anyways, got any more?
His arch enemy is none other than the Joker. Everybody that was his partner as Nightwing, Robin, or even Cassandra Cain were all adoptive children of his, like Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, Jason Todd, and Cassandra Cain.
Okay, so this brings up another point.
He's also Dick Grayson's adoptive daughter. Dick Grayson adopted Cassandra Cain. So that would be Batman's adopted granddaughter.
Wait a minute, which one was Cassandra Cain?
She's in the newer comics.
She's in the newer comics?
Oh. Yeah, she's in the newer ones. But this is canon, so... And he has a biological blood son named Damon Wayne.
Damian.
Yeah.
Little bastard.
Little fucker.
He, his mother, did you find any of that?
Mm-hmm.
His mother is, God, what's her name? She's from the League of Shadows.
Oh, Talia al Ghul?
Yeah.
Talia al Ghul, yeah.
So Batman, which the movies Batman did hook up with her one night.
Yeah. And did she die in the movie? I don't know if she died.
He killed her.
Did he kill her?
Does he kill her? No, Batman didn't kill back then.
No, he didn't kill her.
She does die, but I can't remember how. Oh, wasn't it some sort of she was driving that truck towards the end of Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah. She was...
What happened to the truck? She died in the truck.
They caused the truck to...
Oh, that's right, yeah, because they opened up the door and her body was falling.
To...
Wreck.
Yeah,
Crash.
to wreck. Yeah, it was like go into like a subtunnel or something.
So Batman did technically kill her.
They opened up the door and she was just all like...
And he's like, oh, you can't die, I don't kill people.
I don't know. She said, it's okay, the Batman. But...
So yeah, in the comic book lore, Damian's mother is Talia and father is Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting hookup. That created this little devil spawn that's always trying to outdo Batman and shit. He's an interesting Robin. That's my son's favorite Robin.
He's a cocky little shit,
Yeah,
but I think that's what they need. Somebody who's cocky.
I kind of like him as a Robin.
Frank Miller is the one who introduced the whole dark and grungy Gotham in 1986. The Dark Knight Returns.
Is that how old that movie is, or that comic is?
From 1986,
Wow.
yeah. That was by Frank Miller, and he's the one who brought it back to life from it being all corny in 1960s Batman to the 1986 dark, grungy Batman to what we know now.
And Frank Miller is going to be at the Comic-Con that we are hopefully attending.
Mm-hmm. We'll get there.
One way or another.
We'll sneak in. And last thing I have, there's so much more, but what I have is that the cover date for the very first appearance was May of 1939, and the comic came out in March of 1939. So 1939 is when Batman first was born.
So we're coming up on 80 years.
Almost 80 years of the Dark Knight.
So one of the things I want to talk about with Batman and the mystique of Batman is the League of Shadows. So I figured as long as we're doing like some psychological breakdown, we can talk about like how would he have turned out differently? What, if things went it's always the little things in life, the X factors that change us. So he was trained by this like terrorist group, basically, is like what they are, from the movies, we get a lot of knowledge about who they are from Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
And he's basically saying, what's their mantra? Basically, we it's like Robin Hood. Basically, like kill the rich, steal from the rich. They deserve it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. They wanted to destroy Gotham because it was already falling apart.
But they want to also take over the world.
And they wanted to,
That's where it gets confusing.
Yeah, Ra's al Ghul came off basically saying that the League of Assassins is integral to the world.
League of Shadows.
Well, the League of they're kind of the same thing. Yeah, they're the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Some sort of the League of Shadows, the League of Assassins.
I like the League
It's
of
the same
Nations.
group.
Maybe that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yes.
He said that it's basically a necessary evil in the world to bring balance into the world, because like they wanted to destroy Gotham because it was too riddled with crime and it was beyond saving, so we wanted to destroy it and then start anew, and then a new Gotham would rise from its ashes, and they and so he was saying that the League of Assassins or the League of Shadows is needed, is a necessary evil for this world because it's to wipe away the evil or something.
So their philosophy is pretty much like the philosophy of the United States of America.
It's already fucked. Let it be fucked. We'll fuck it up even more.
We'll fuck it all over and start all over again.
Make the League of Assassins great again.
Alright.
We stand with her.
Who, Talia?
Yeah,
Wait, I'm lost.
Talia.
Wait a minute.
Talia.
But I was always kind of like, this is one of those weird things to me, like, what would have happened to Batman had he never met the League of Shadows? So he set off on this journey. They don't really show you in the movies, and they probably do, but maybe I never read the comic. They don't really, it's not Batman lore about, like, how did he run into them? Like, did he go looking for the League of Shadows? Because the way it seems to me was, it was like, maybe they were looking for him. Or maybe... No, in the movies, they do show that scene. That's right. In Batman Begins, where he's in jail or something. He gets in a badass fight.
Yeah, then he's approached, I think, in...
By the gangsters, right?
I think in...
And somebody sees him kicking ass.
Yeah.
And that's when they bring him to the League of Shadows.
And that's when he was going to kill his parents' killer, wasn't it? Was that the same guy that he was going to kill, but he ended up getting killed?
No.
Who was that he was going to shoot in front of the courthouse?
No, you're thinking of the wrong...
Ah.
In the beginning of Batman Begins.
Yeah.
So...
He was going to kill somebody.
You see him, like, talking to Alfred getting on a plane. And then he gets on the plane, and then you see him, like, beard. It's cold out, like he's in a different environment. I think it's Tibet. I think it's Tibet or Mongolia or something.
Yeah.
And he gets into a fight with somebody over something. It's like somebody took his shit or something.
Or something, yeah.
I don't know, it was like petty theft or something, but he starts kicking ass. And somebody from the League of Shadows, I can't remember if it was a jail he was in. It seems like he was in jail. But then again, I don't know how accurate that is to the actual comic book lore. That's Nolan's. Which Nolan did research a lot of things. Some of the things from those movies is dead on, and then you have things like Bane, which is completely a redo.
I would have thought they should have kept Bane with Ra's al Ghul and Batman Begins. That would have been fucking cool.
Yeah.
Have Bane and Ra's al Ghul together. Because Bane was a cool character, but like we all know him as the Mexican wrestler guy who looks like a Mexican wrestler with a mask, and he's all bulked up and green tubes coming out of his head. That's the Bane I like.
Right, it's the...
Tom Hardy did good on it.
It's the... What is that shit that they pump into him?
It's like...
They call it something.
Poison or toxins or some shit like that.
It's called something, I can't remember.
What, Bane stuff?
Yeah.
Wasn't it called Venom?
Venom.
Yeah, it was called Venom.
Yes, it was. Good call. What is Venom? Where does it come from?
I don't know. If you go through the, what is it? Was it the George Clooney Batman? Or was that the Val Kilmer Batman?
Let's see. It was
George Clooney.
It was Bane and Ivy.
Yeah, it was.
No, it was Clooney.
Yeah. And then if you go by that movie...
I barely remember that movie. I've been trying for years to erase it from my mind.
Bane was a regular skinny-ass criminal that was on death row or something, and they did some experiment with him. He got all big and bulky, and the dude hooked him up with Venom. Same shit that Poison Ivy got hooked up with when she fell into the pit of whatever... Well, stupid shit. I fucking hate them movies.
Alright, so I'm looking at... I'm looking at the DC database on Bruce Wayne, and according to this, it said that he basically began his long journey at 14.
At 14. So that's what I was thinking. The Gotham TV show, he's got to be like 15. He's not driving yet, so he's got to be like 15.
Yeah, he went to like Cambridge. He took some courses at Cambridge and other European universities. He never stayed too long.
Right.
He just moved from place to place. He received multiple martial arts training under various instructors in different countries, and just kind of bounced all over the place.
So really,
well, according to this, Bruce was also trained in archery by Oliver Queen.
By Green Arrow.
By Green Arrow. That is very interesting. Eh?
Well, they are pretty close in the Dark Knight Returns comic.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one that he turns to make him a kryptonite arrow.
Yeah, everybody needs to have a kryptonite arrow.
Yeah.
Fuck Superman.
Remember? He's only got one arm. Because Superman tore off his fucking arm.
Yeah.
What kind of Superman?
Who does it?
So we learned manhunting by a Frenchman named Henry Ducard, stealth and reconnaissance under Japanese ninja Kagiri and other certified shinobi, hunting under the African Bushmen, the ghost tribes of the Ten-Eyed Brotherhood.
That's what I want to be called. We should be called the Bushmen. We're done.
Rename of the podcast.
No more Nerdite Council. We're called Bushman Council. The burning bush.
The Batman Bushman.
The Bushman.
Hand-to-hand combat under the tutelage of Ted Grant, world champion boxer, and David Kane, one of the world's premier assassins. Traditional healing disciplines under Nepalese monks, and even ventriloquism under skilled practitioners.
I wonder if that
ventriloquism, that seems like a odd...
That David Kane is related to Cassandra Kane.
He's like, I'm going to need to know how to use puppets. I'm planning on taking them out with puppets.
What do you think, Robin?
It's a good idea, man. I guess at 20 he attempted to join the FBI. But after learning about its regulations and conduct, he deduced that he would never be able to completely oppose crime while working within the legal system.
Well, he can't kill nobody.
He didn't want it. He doesn't want... Fuck these new movies.
Yeah.
Do not listen to what they're telling you. He doesn't want to kill.
So according to this, I don't see anything about the League of Assassins, at least starting out. Now, I don't know if he comes upon them
but at the beginning
later,
of Batman Begins, who was he going to kill? He had the gun in his pocket, and he stuck it in his sleeve. And he was going to kill somebody. He pulled the gun out.
Oh, you're talking about the court scene.
Yeah, the court scene. And someone ended up shooting him anyways. And he put his gun back in his fucking coat.
The mobster.
Was that the person that was in charge of killing his mom and dad?
I don't know. It was a mafia guy.
Yeah.
Let's see, the only...
what's the big... That's...
The big guy.
Falcone?
Yeah,
I would say Falcone and...
I think it was one of Falcone's.
It could have been. He was like the big time...
He's the one that was like talking shit about his dad and stuff. And that's what set him off. I think it
was the guy that killed his parents.
Yeah.
I thought that guy was just a regular random mugger.
Nah. It depends on what movie you're watching. It was The Joker in 1989. Hey kid,
Right.
dance with the devil in the pale moonlight.
So we're assuming that he, based on the movies, that he was eventually trained by the League of Assassins, League of Shadows. So my question posed to you, fellas, what if he never meets them? Did they put bad seeds in Batman? I've always kind of wondered, like, was he, like, honestly, he obviously he was on this mission to get revenge for his parents' death.
No, I think he was,
But-
if anything.
But was it the League of Shadows that kind of twisted his mind? Did it not help matters? I mean, obviously the murder of his parents in front of him
Yeah,
fucked his mind up.
I think he was just a fucked up person in general, man.
But if he never meets the League of Assassins, let's just say he meets these guys that Nate was talking about. He learns some martial arts and ventriloquism, and he comes back and he's like, all right, Alfred,
you want to sneak?
I think I'm good now. So he never meets the League of Shadows.
Yeah.
Does it change Batman? Or was he fucked up from the start?
Well, he ain't gonna be able to use puppets.
It's like, I'm waiting for that moment. That training, all those years of training.
I don't know, because I think Ra's al Ghul was more. They were more like.
You were my
stronger.
brother!
Yeah, they were more stronger than he was, and they were more gritty. Like, they didn't have a problem killing anybody. And he was supposed to kill. Wasn't he supposed to kill somebody? And he couldn't do it.
And that's the point where he's like,
Yeah, and I think, if anything, he would have been the same. I think the only thing he really learned from them was more of like fighting styles and swordsmanship and everything like that, and little whatever Ra's al Ghul told him. But I don't think he really learned like mentally anything.
why would they think, why would Ra's al Ghul think, since his father, like, made Gotham,
Mm-hmm.
why would they think that he would want to destroy Gotham? That's kind of like, hey, what your father built, Ralph, was awful, so we're going to go destroy it. You come with us?
I don't know. Maybe it was.
I mean,
something,
why would you go after Bruce
Maybe it
Wayne?
was something that he was trying to play a head game with. Like, if he knew that he can destroy something his father created, then Ra's al Ghul knows he has him in his grasp. You know what I mean? Like, your father made it, but you destroy it. So you're bigger and better than your father is. Because your father is
That's
just...
an interesting scenario.
Yeah.
To make sure you cut all ties.
Yeah.
I'm your daddy now.
Yeah, exactly. Like Kylo Ren. Cut all ties. Fucking
Don't
asshole.
cry, Ralph. It's all right. Here, you
I'm
need tissue.
Oh, I'm good. I'll go home and watch Indiana Jones. We're good.
Indy's still alive.
Andy's alive still. Fuck you.
He's a geezer, but he's alive.
He's all good.
So yeah, I don't know. I've always wondered about that, the League of Shadows, the influence that it had on him.
Yeah.
Okay, so we fast forward to he comes back. He's like, okay, I have the knowledge and the training.
Yep.
Now I need an idea.
Mm-hmm.
So if we go back to the only knowledge I have of where he got the bat from was from a great animated series, and actually it was, or animated movie, and it was a comic book first. I never read the comic book, but Year One.
Yeah, with the purple gloves.
Yeah, Year One is fantastic, and there's a scene where he, in the animated cartoon, which is awesome. That's the only thing DC can fucking, Warner Brothers can seem to do right, is make cartoons.
That's what they should just stick with.
I should say the TV shows are good too, but it seems like, I don't know, that's so weird to me too. They're so excellent at animation with DC. They are.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
But if you put those characters in real life form, they're...
Yeah, but are they being controlled by 100% Warner Brothers like they would in the movie?
I think probably because animated, and you touched upon something key there, they don't make as much money.
No.
They don't cost as much
It's
money.
not box office material.
So the assholes, the CEOs at Warner Brothers are like, yeah, go ahead and make Dark Knight Returns. Here's $10 million and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so they make a kick-ass, and I think you're right. Nobody's standing over their shoulder going, you can't do that. That's not what the people want to see.
Well, yeah, especially with the Killing Joke one. There's a sex scene between Batman and Barbara Gordon.
Yeah,
Batgirl.
is.
Yeah, and in the comic book, because I know the comic book of The Killing Joke, it's implied. It's written by Alan Moore, who's a weird-ass dude anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And it's implied, the sex scene, there's a couple panels, and you go, oh, wait a minute, did they just have sex? But you don't really know.
Right.
And then, I haven't seen the cartoon yet.
Batman got it in.
But in the cartoon, apparently, it's for real. And Nate's bringing this up because Warner Bros. Is like, you did what? Oh, whatever, we don't care, it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
But, so, back to what I was saying. So, there's this great scene in year one where he's sitting in his den, his living room, whatever, and it's like late at night, he can't sleep, and he's just sitting there, and he's staring at this. I believe it must be his father or maybe his grandfather. It's someone, it's a bust, a statue of someone from the Wayne lineage. And I think it's probably his dad or his grandfather. And he's staring at it, and he's doing, like, inner dialogue, and you can hear what he's saying. He's like, I need something, an idea. I have everything except that thing. I want to strike fear in their hearts.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, that can scare them like I was scared in that alley that night? And all of a sudden, this fucking bat busts through the window and knocks over the bus till the bus breaks. He takes it as a sign, and he's like, that's it.
Yeah. That's a good point, but I also like...
What if he looked down and he saw a spider?
Spider-Man.
I'll be Spider-Man, that's it. Alfred, I got it. And he's like, dummy.
Oh, dummy.
There's a young man over in New York that's already Spider-Man.
See, I like that theory,
but he's Spider-Boy. I'll be Spider-Man.
I like the theory of him as a kid being afraid of bats, and he has to become his biggest fear.
Right. So in the movie, they changed it.
Yeah.
In the movie, in Nolan's universe, they changed it, which I liked also. Although, you guys check it out, seriously. If you've never seen Year One, check it out on YouTube. Just the scene is like 2 minutes long, and it's badass. But in the movies, he falls down that well.
Yeah.
And the bats fly over him. He gets scared, but then he's not scared.
Because his dad saves him.
Yeah, but he has this, like, orgasmic moment with the bats.
And they're all flying around him, and he looks up, and he just sees them swirling.
No, that's Batman versus Superman.
No, Batman vs. Superman is when they carry him out of the well, which was so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
That was so corny.
In the Nolan universe, which is this Dark Knight, or do they say it in Batman Begins? Do they show that in Batman Begins?
I think they showed it in Batman Begins.
Yeah, they show it in Batman Begins. Yeah. With the bats flying around.
Yeah, there's apparently an abandoned well or cave
under property
under the grounds of the Wayne Mansion, and he falls into it. But he has this, like, orgasmic moment before his dad saves him. At first, they're, like, flying over him, and he's like, ah! He looks at him, and he's like, oh.
Wait a minute.
Those are so cool. And then his dad saves him, and then, of course, I got to throw this in there because it's something I've preached to my oldest son. One of my favorite lines from the entire Nolan universe, why do we fall? Is he's carrying his son.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we fall, Bruce? So we can get back up, Dad. Dude, that makes me sentimental every time I hear it, especially because when my son would fuck up in life here and there. Dad, I'm so sorry, I did this, but I'm like, listen, what does Thomas Wayne say to Bruce? What? Why do we fall?
Run, Bruce.
Why do we fall? And my son, like, he gets it. He loves that too. So I had to bring that up.
Why do we fall? Because we can't walk for shit.
So apparently in the movies, that's where he gets the bat idea from.
I get it.
You like that better, you think, than the bat flying through them?
Yeah, I like the kid version better.
Yeah, I like it
with the because I like the meaning behind it. In order for you to conquer your fear, you have to become your fear.
Yeah.
I like that.
Agreed.
That version. But, I mean, that one's cool, too, with Year One.
So I gotta bring this up since we're on the podcast. I've told Ralph this story, and I think I told Nate, too, but it comes from a Kevin Smith comic that I read and I was telling Ralph because Kevin Smith was talking about it years later and how much shit he took from Batman fans, which is really mind-boggling to me now when I look and see what they're doing to Batman, and I'm like, nobody's throwing a fit about that shit. But apparently he wrote a comic book. He wrote a comic book where it was, I forget what the name of the title was, but there was this superhero in training. He wanted to be Batman's partner, and of course Batman's like, no, I work alone, you know. You're not Robin, get away from me. But this guy's like following around. He's like, you're the best, you know, and kind of like feeds Batman's ego. And so Batman hesitantly takes him under his wing, and after they bust these bad guys together, they're like sharing like a bromance superhero moment, and this guy is like talking to him like, blah blah blah, you're so great, man, and he's like, he's talking shit up, and he's again inner dialogue. Batman's like, say something, Bruce, this is your moment to bond, and he's like, what do I talk about? And so he decides to tell him the story of his first night out. And
I remember.
Yeah,
that.
and he goes, so first night I was out, and he starts telling the story about how he went to this the crime bosses were having a meeting at this house, and he had set the explosives to blow this one wall off the entire house because he knew they were having dinner in the dining room. He was going to blow the wall off the dining room, off the house, and walk in like, I know, he had this speech rehearsed, whatever. So he's telling this guy, who I believe the guy in training, his name was Baphomet.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And he's telling him the story. He goes, but I didn't take into account the explosion. And the guy's like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, it's common knowledge that if you're near the flash point of an explosion, that you will have, what did I say he called it? Involuntary.
Yeah. Bowel movement. Bladder movement, yeah.
What did he call it? Involuntary.
Bladder spasm?
Bladder spasm,
that's what he said.
And the Baphomet guy starts laughing and goes, you pissed your pants? I can't believe you pissed your pants. And he's like, I told you I had a bladder spasm. And Kevin Smith was talking about this, which is a really cool, if you go back and you watch Year One, or if you even read the comics, you'll see that scene.
Mm-hmm.
And after you hear Kevin Smith, he pissed his pants, and you're standing there giving this speech to these guys, because they're all these crime bosses. The explosion happens, they all look, there's smoke, and all of a sudden you see Batman appear out of the smoke, and he's like, your reign over Gotham is over, and he goes into this great like Batman speech. And after you know this, you're thinking, he's standing there in his own piss. It changes the way you look at that scene.
Like, oh, right. Batman pissed.
But apparently, it pissed off a lot of Batman fans. Like,
well, yeah.
Fuck him, you should never write for Batman again.
Of course.
But, I don't know, yeah.
But, brings me to, as long as we're talking about the psychosis of Batman and breaking him down, leads me to the gigantic problems I have with this new version of Batman, who has no problem killing motherfuckers at all. Batman is sadistic, for sure. There's plenty of times in the comic books where he would pulverize someone to comatose point or being paralyzed, but I didn't kill him.
Right.
And that's his, go-to, yeah, he'll live. He might not have much of a life, but he'll live.
Isn't that with all superheroes, though? No superheroes really ever killed anybody. Maybe Logan.
I think Superman kills. I mean, even before these movies. If it's somebody he's never killed Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because he lives on the planet of humans, so he, and we take murder very seriously on this planet, so maybe he's like, well, I can't kill a human being, I can't kill Lex Luthor.
He was also brought up the right way too.
Right.
He's
not a human, but he was raised with human
right. Well,
values.
We've seen in these. There's 750 different versions of Superman for some odd reason, but there was one of them was Red Sun Superman,
I heard that was really good.
who instead of crashing in the United States ends up crashing out in the middle of the ocean between the United States and Russia. And Russia is the one that goes out and gets him, brings him back, and trains him as a Soviet, basically super weapon, yeah. And so, you know fucking Superman's killing motherfuckers over there. He's not gonna...
That's Superman I like.
He's not gonna... He hasn't been taught right from wrong. He hasn't been taught, a restraint or whatever. He's a living weapon to them.
Right. What if he landed in Nazi Germany?
I think there was a version of...
And instead of the S, you got like a giant swastika. And you got blonde hair and blue eyes.
Or SS.
SS, yeah. He's just standing there. Giant SS.
People are like, does that mean hope? Like, no, motherfucker, don't you know who the SS is?
No, it means
genocide.
genocide.
Volkswagen, bitches. Gas chamber.
First I'll put your ass in a Volkswagen and then we send you to the gas chamber.
Oh, that's horrible.
We're offending a lot of Jewish people right now.
I'm Jewish, so it's okay.
And funny enough, Superman was created by a Jewish man.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Fleischer? I can't remember. I don't know, it's a Jewish name, I know that.
Anne Frank. It's called Man Frank.
Anne Frank.
When she got bored
Anne Frank, when she was hiding from the Nazis,
when she got bored
Superman.
When she got bored with her diary, she started writing stories about Superman.
She was like, what's a good word to use? Kryptonite. Nobody ever heard of that word.
Where was I going with this? Oh, okay.
That's horrible. I'm Jewish, so it's okay.
But yeah, it's you can take, and this is actually kind of further expanding on basically the question of what you said before about if Batman or Bruce Wayne wasn't trained by the League of Assassins, what would have became of him, or what would have been different and everything. I mean, you could do that for pretty much anybody. Spider-Man, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was given his powers by a radioactive spider. We all know this, but it was the one line. It's the most famous line. I would argue in all of comics is, with great power comes great responsibility, instilled on him by his Uncle Ben. And with that, it gave him a sense of, I was given this great power, and I have a responsibility to use it to help people. Okay, so then I would say, what if we all went to bed and we got up the next day and we found out we had superpowers?
Oh. Then we gotta go to bed with the superhero.
No.
I got dibs on Wonder Woman.
We might come that to late. We might come to that later, actually.
Yes, Wonder Woman.
So if we all woke up with superpowers, what would our reaction be? And what would we do? Because obviously, if Jeremy, you went to bed, you got up and you were the Human Torch.
Sweet.
Obviously your hand's gonna be on fire. You're gonna freak the fuck out.
I want to.
Is you're gonna be your first reaction. They're like, I'm on fire!
I can't even call anybody. Now my phone's on fire!
I want Elastic Man from Fantastic Four.
I used to love, but it's not Elastic Man.
Whatever.
Is it Elastic Man?
Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic. Dude, I have like 5 foot fucking dick. I'm just saying. That'd be awesome.
Hey, check this out.
Look at this.
Hey, look at that.
Helicopter.
Around
the world.
So, like, everybody's reaction is going to be different. So, like, you're going to freak out, but then, you'll be like, oh, wow, my whole body can become fire. So then you come to that point, you're like, okay, so I've been given this great power, what am I going to do with it?
I'm going to burn some shit.
See? Boom! Dark path right there.
How did that happen? I sneezed and the building caught on fire.
Oops. And I locked the door so no one can get out.
I opened the door, I'm like, Ralph, Nate, get out now!
I can't hold it! I'm gonna fart!
Boom! But,
right.
Part of I think what we're touching upon here is a really interesting subject to me, that we are 99% what our environment around us is, what we were raised as. That is kind of like what I was getting at with, what happened to Batman and the League of Shadows and all the what ifs. And yeah, dude, science says that we learn most of our entire behavior patterns, like how we will thought process problems, how we'll come up with solutions, how we're going to react to any situation. And science says that you learn most of it, the first 6 years of your life.
All right, here's a question. What happens...
That's why my children are fucked.
If Clark Kent landed in Gotham and was picked up by Martha and Thomas Wayne, would they have died still in the Death Alley or whatever they were called?
That's funny you bring that up, because there's actually a story to where, who created it escapes my mind, but basically Clark Kent slams into Gotham, and he's adopted by Martha and Thomas Wayne.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up naming him Bruce Wayne.
Was there a Bruce Wayne yet or no?
There was, but he wasn't superpower. So
I can't remember if there was one or if this was one where they didn't have a kid, or I think Bruce died early or something like that. But they ended up they named him Bruce Wayne. And
Bruce 2.
I am Bruce 2.
Bruce the reboot.
Bruce 2.0. But according to the story plays out the same. Thomas and Martha Wayne both get shot in Crime Alley.
He doesn't stop them?
He doesn't stop them because I think he doesn't know... I don't think he knows about his powers yet. It's only when he becomes a little older that he realizes what he's capable of, and because of this, he ends up becoming Batman.
Superman
ends up becoming Batman, and he fights as Batman.
That's a mind fuck right there.
That's fucking cool though, dude.
But then he realizes, I don't need this. I don't need all this armor anymore.
Why am I wearing this crazy outfit? I can fuck shit up naked. But why would he not stop the bullets? I mean, at 10 years old... Oh, wait a minute. Okay, how old was Bruce when that happened? I thought it was 10.
Let's say 10.
Okay, I think it is 10, but...
I know damn well if someone pulled a gun out in front of me and my son was there, he'd be like, "Peace, Dad, you on your own. I got Xbox I gotta go
But if you knew you had the ability to stop a bullet...
Oh, yeah, then...
Or if you knew you had some type of power...
You got the fucking... What is it? The lasers out of your eyes?
There are a lot of things that he could have done.
Yeah.
Maybe he hasn't perfected the laser eyes yet.
Or he could have jumped in front of the bullet.
But he's faster than a speeding bullet.
Yeah.
There's a scene in... I own the first Superman movie. The very first Christopher Reeve Superman movie. And there's a scene where they're in an alley and him and Lois are walking and this mugger comes up to him and says, "Give me all your money in your purse, lady." And of course Lois was very uncooperative. She was always causing trouble. She's like, "No!" And he's like, "Lois, I think you better give it over to him. He's waving a gun around. He really means business."
Yeah.
And the guy ends up shooting at Lois, and Superman reaches over, because they're standing side by side, catches the bullet, and then falls down like he's just been shot. And she walks away, or he leaves, and then Lois turns and sees Clark sitting on the ground like he's been shot. She's like, "Oh my God, Clark!" And he like wakes up and he goes, "Oh, where did he go? I must have fainted." And she's like, "You fainted?" Because he's the world's biggest pussy.
Right.
Okay, so I found where Superman becomes Batman. It was called Superman Speeding Bullets.
Oh, I'm gonna write that down. I want to read that.
It came out in January of '93. It was only one issue.
Huh.
The plot was that he crashed. He crashed to Earth, where he was discovered by Thomas and Martha Wayne. They decided to adopt him and name him Bruce. One night, Thomas and Martha are gunned down by a mugger. Bruce incinerates the mugger with his heat vision, and then he discovers his superpowers
at that moment.
So did Thomas and Martha...
So he got pissed, and he's like... Zoom!
He realized it was too late to save his parents, so he decided to hide his powers in shame. he decides to create a secret identity for himself many years later as the Batman. He begins to brutally strike back at the criminals in Gotham. Meanwhile, criminal Lex Luthor is on the run and is caught in a horribly disfiguring accident. Lex becomes this dimension's version of the clown prince of crime, the Joker.
Wow.
Who was it?
The Joker. Lex Luthor becomes the Joker.
Wow, that's awesome.
Bruce is eventually persuaded by Lois Lane that a more hopeful superhero is needed than his dark, violent Batman persona, giving rise to the new and him basically giving rise to Superman.
What year did that come out? 93?
93.
Oh, I'm going definitely going to the comic
That
book
does
store.
sound really good, man. Lois is like, you want some of this pussy? You get rid of that stupid costume.
Get rid of that stupid costume, motherfucker.
Okay. You're creeping me out.
This pussy stone ain't for that, motherfucker, alright? So, I think that would be fucking kind of cool. I mean, I think I would be more of a Superman fan if that was,
That is a pretty cool story.
you know.
Yeah, I just don't understand why. Because in the Superman story, by 10 years old, the kid knows he's got powers.
Yeah.
So Martha and Thomas were bad parents and could have avoided their own deaths had they talked honestly to their son.
Yeah.
Like, look, dude, we found you. You didn't come from your mother's womb.
You're a fucking alien.
You're an
bro.
alien. You have incredible powers.
So let's go down Death Alley, or wherever the fuck it's called.
And test them out.
And test them out. you
But
know.
yeah, but so there's a giant plot hole in that comic book because
Yeah.
why would they not at 10 years? Why would he not be like, hey man?
I think I would have to say something just in case if I piss off my son and he like.
Well, you don't know.
fucking-
You're right. You're a human being. You don't know. So let's take it back to Superman for a second, like the OG story. When he crashes to Earth and Martha and what the hell was his dad's name?
Who?
Superman's dad? Earth dad, not Jordan.
Jonathan?
Jonathan?
I think it was
Martha.
It was Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner.
So when
He's building a baseball team.
he crashes to Earth and Martha and Jonathan start raising him, they don't know what the fuck he can do. They just see from the movie. I don't know about the comics,
Yeah.
but from the movie, from the original, and I bet you it's pretty accurate because they didn't. I don't think they strayed too far back then in the early '80s when they were doing comic book movies. But he picks up the car. Remember?
Yeah.
He's like a toddler, and the wheel gets a flat tire, and the dad's like struggling to get the wheel on.
Mm-hmm.
And the toddler Superman walks over and picks up the truck. And he's like holding it over his head, and they look at him like, oh shit. So at this point, they don't know what he can do.
Yeah, but
It's slowly revealed as they like tell him, like,
Yeah.
hey man, you're an alien, and we saw you when you were a little kid pick up this truck. We don't really know what you can do. Because he doesn't learn to fly until years later.
Yeah.
And they show you in that movie, he wants to join the football team or the track team. I don't know.
I think it was a football team.
I think it was too. And
And
the
his-
dad talks him out of it, right?
Yeah, because he was too.
You'd be cheating, dude. Like, so here he is. Like, you can see, like, we don't really know what you can do, so we're gonna try and just hide you for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
and don't be trying to use your powers because you don't know what you can do, and we don't know what you can do. We didn't get no instruction manual. So to this story of Superman becoming Batman, he crashes to Earth. Martha and Thomas find him, and they're not going to say shit to him?
Yeah.
Like, what if he blows up the whole world on accident?
He's a
Thomas, should we say something? No, let's just keep this out. I got a name in Gotham. We can't be telling people we got an alien kid.
I think that's probably what
And
it
maybe
was,
that's
too.
what it was.
Yeah, they had to keep their reputation.
The pride. So let's talk about this for a moment. The pride of the Waynes.
Yeah.
Because Bruce Wayne might be the redeemer of Gotham or the savior of Gotham. But in all reality, from all the stories I've read, Batman stories I've read, the Waynes were not really good people.
Mm-mm.
Which makes sense because they're billionaires, they're filthy rich, and most filthy rich people are not good people. Yeah, I said it. You rich people are not listening to this podcast anyways. Fuck you.
Except Donald
And they-
Trump. I love Donald Trump.
He's an asshole too, you know he is.
I love you, DT.
But yeah, okay. So I mean, I've read stories of the. Okay, there was an interesting series that came out written by the weird Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
Love him or hate him, one of the two. There's no in between. He writes really interesting stories. I don't think he's even employed by DC anymore. But they had him as the main Batman guy in the early 2000s, and so he was writing a lot of Batman stuff. One of the series he wrote was called The Death of Bruce Wayne, but he didn't actually die. But the premise behind it was, and it's time travel, it's complicated, and at the end of the series, it's really good, like the first 6 books, and then like the last 2 are just utter bullshit.
Right.
When they try to explain the time travel, basically Batman disappears. They think he's dead, but he's actually in another reality. And in order to, he has to find his way back to current reality.
Who's it, Superman? Or Batman? It's Batman.
Bruce Wayne. So, he starts out, this is the first issue. It's like caveman Batman. And he's like a caveman, like thousands of years ago. And he like doesn't know what the fuck's going on or whatever. By the end of each, and it goes throughout time, he's like quantum leaping.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. And then he's like a knight or something, and he's got the Batman suit.
So I think it went from caveman Batman to the next one. I believe was
medieval time.
No, the burning of the witches, like
Salem.
Salem. He was like a witch burner,
yeah,
Batman.
Okay. Yep.
And then it went to, I'm not sure where it went after that. At one point he was a detective, like from the 40s. And that was a very cool issue. But anyways, I digress. The point being that, what were we talking about right before this?
Time travel or no.
That rich people are
assholes.
Right, slightly before that. Oh, the Waynes and like so you get to like Grant Morrison peppers each one of these comics with a little bit of the lore of the Wayne family, and so basically what Bruce Wayne is doing is he's entering the lives of former Waynes, and he doesn't figure this out until several issues into it.
So he is quantum leaping.
He is. He's literally quantum leaping into other Wayne's lives. And a lot, like, as you're, like, reading these stories, there's one great uncle or whatever that legit was into the occult. And satanic shit and stuff.
Wow.
And I think that was the one that was the pilgrim.
The witch burning.
Yeah. But you slowly kind of like get introduced to like other Waynes of past and like how they were not very upstanding people.
Yeah.
Which again, like I said, you don't get rich by being a good jolly guy and doing nice things for people.
You know what I always wanted to figure out was who the hell is the Joker? Legit, like, where did he come from? I know there's different.
Yeah.
He was a comedian. His family, he fell on hard times, whatever. But like, there's got to be some kind of relations between him and Batman, and Batman knows who he is.
Yeah, this is the Joker Batman connection is something I wanted to explore. So we'll just do it now. So I think this is really interesting about the Joker. He's the only known Batman villain without an origin story. Without a distinct... He has several different origin stories, but there's not one agreed upon.
I don't even know his real name either.
Well, from the movies, it was Jack Napier.
Oh, Jack Napier, yeah, but that was...
That's not according to comic books.
Is that canon now?
No, it's not from comic books. Probably the story I've seen most out of the comics was that he was actually a comedian, a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, that's the Killing Joke right there.
Is that what that's from?
I think so, yeah.
And his wife, he has a wife.
Yeah.
And she gets pregnant or something. And he hasn't worked in a long time, and His life's fucking miserable, and she's like, just get out there and go make some money. I don't care how you got to do it. And that's when he turns to stand-up comedy. Like, well, I'll get up on stage and tell a few jokes. Maybe I can make some money that way. And he sucks, from what I recall, and ends up becoming the Red Hood.
Really?
Yeah. And then the Red Hood eventually ends up becoming the Joker.
Do they say how he became the Joker with the white paint and shit? Or is it just something with clowns?
No, he lost his mind. Something happens to his wife. I think she dies with his baby. I know she's pregnant, I remember that. But again, this is just one origin story.
I've seen that movie too, and I cannot remember how it played
I read
out.
the comic. It might have been The Killing Joke. It probably was.
And that's when he was in a mental institution, wasn't it? And he broke out by killing the guy with the coffee cup, his psychiatrist.
No, that you're talking about the Joker.
Yeah,
you're talking about
The Dark Knight Rises.
That's Dark Knight Returns.
Returns Part 2. That was a good movie too.
Hell yeah, that was really, really well done animated.
But I would love to hear like a straight up origin movie from the Joker.
So I'm gonna be the devil's advocate for a moment and say that I don't want to hear a Joker origin story, and I'll tell you why. Because, like I said, he is the only villain that doesn't really have its own origin story,
and you really don't need one.
He doesn't really know one. To me, the Joker is a very special character to me.
Mm-hmm.
The Joker is almost, to me, kind of like, I'm going to bring a little bit of religion into this for a moment. He's almost like the devil.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like that tempting voice, like, like the Flintstones, good Fred and bad Fred on the shoulder. And we all go through that every day of our fucking lives.
Yeah.
Whether you're religious or not, we all have some sense. I shouldn't say all of us, but 99.9%, there are serial killers out there and shit. We all have a sense of morality that is instilled in us one way or another, whether it's your parents, the Bible, television. We all have some sort of like right and wrong that's fairly well agreed upon, at least in this culture in America. And to me, the Joker is like he's an agent of chaos.
Yeah.
He's just like, if you read the Bible, the devil has demons do his work. Demons are fallen angels. So in the story of the Bible, the devil doesn't like what God's doing. I can do it better. And I should be God. I know how to run things. So he convinces, somewhere in the Bible it says, a third of all of the angels to revolt against God, and there's a war in heaven. So whenever I think of the Joker, I always think of him kind of like he's just this like voice.
What's like legitly good versus evil?
Yeah, and I feel like he's Batman's main nemesis because they're actually very alike.
Yeah.
Joker needs Batman, Batman needs Joker.
Right, and many
the
times...
yin and the yang.
Right,
Almost.
and many times the Joker will say that to him. I don't want to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where it's from. It's from a movie or a comic book, but I remember, I don't want to kill you, Batsy.
Mm-hmm.
You're part of me. I'm part of you. You need me, and I need you.
He said it in The Dark Knight. He said it in The Dark Knight.
And the interrogation scene?
I think it's in the interrogation
That's
thing
why
or whatever.
I think that they knew each other beforehand.
We're two peas in a pod or something like that. It's like, you can't kill me because you need me or something like that. I think he says that in The Dark Knight. He says something along those lines.
And I think the Joker is the one person that Batman wants to kill.
I think there's some kind of connection there between the two. Like they knew each other in school, or he might have been an ex-Wayne employee or something.
I don't think it's that.
No, I don't think
gotta
there's
know
that.
each other. I think they gotta know each other somehow.
I think they know each other like on a spiritual level. Like I think the Joker at some point came across Batman, probably from the news, and said, "Whoa, this guy's fucked up." Just like me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at this dude. He gets up
Like he
at
sees
night.
similarities in Batman, and that's what draws him to Batman. He's like, oh, this might be interesting. So he tempts, he teases Batman, like, oh, I've got people over here and people over here. So what are you going to choose? You know,
Right.
You know,
and
then
perfect morality. What would you do? Like, is there a good decision?
and then
Batman?
and then Batman finds a way to save them both, and then he's like, he's like, oh,
They learn from each other.
right.
To me, it's kind of always like we choose our friends because they're like us.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just go be friends with people who have no fucking things in common with you. So there's this weird like friendship between the two of them because they have so many things in common.
Yeah.
Even though at first, if you were to tell this to a 10-year-old Batman fan, he'd be like, "What?" If you told Ethan this.
Yeah.
The Joker's nothing like Batman. Batman hates the... Well, they have nothing in common. Are you crazy? Yeah, I guess maybe it takes living.
You have to break it down.
Well, it takes living, I think. Life experience. You get older and you kind of look back at things and you go, oh, yeah, I guess I was kind of crazy for a while, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't really need an origin story. And I'm big on origin stories. I am.
Yeah.
But the Joker, to me, almost exists like... He's real. I know he's a real person.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, he's almost like Batman's crazy side.
Who was it that was saying that there really is no Joker and it's all in Batman's head? That's why you can never kill him.
I've heard
keep
that
him
before.
in jail, keep him in the Arkham Asylum because he always breaks out, but it's all in Batman's head.
I've heard that theory too. I don't know if it came directly from a comic or a movie or something, but I have heard that before, more than once. I like to write. I used to write a lot more than I do now, but I started writing a story years ago, and I stopped writing it, but I got to tell you guys about it because we're talking about Batman. So it was right after The Dark Knight that I was like, that story just was amazing to me. So I'm like, I'm going to write a Batman story. I love Batman. I write all this other bullshit, but I've never written about Batman. So I wonder if I can do it. So I started writing this story. And the setting was this. I got, I don't know, 40, 50 pages into it before I just gave up on it. But the setting was much older Batman. Like, let's say 60s. Not 40s like in The Dark Knight.
Right.
Or the current version of Batman, which is assumed to be in his 40s. Like 60-something-year-old Batman. And the Joker is about the same age. And the idea is that Batman in his older age, just kind of like the movies are showing us, that Batman in his older age has begun to lose it a little bit, which is like why we see him killing in The Dark Knight Returns. And so he is beginning to lose his mind. And he does something, I don't remember what I wrote. He does something where he ended up killing some people.
The Batman did?
Yeah. And Gotham had reached this point of getting rid of crime. There was very few, like, you still had, like, the Batman villains that were, the story of, people say, well, I'm sure you guys have heard this, especially, I'm sure Ralph has heard it, that Batman actually makes the villains.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's so crazy and out there, these villains create identities for themselves, like the Penguin and stuff, because there's a Batman. And if you would remove Batman from the equation, all these freaks would just go away.
Oh, yeah, not according to what's been going on in Gotham, the TV show Gotham.
And I've missed a few weeks.
I mean, it's basically implied, and they basically, it's basically implied that Hugo Strange creates most of Batman's villains.
Oh.
Firefly is a chick, which I always assumed. I mean, you fought Firefly in the Arkham games.
Mm-hmm.
It was always a guy.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, it's a girl for some reason. There's a person who looks like he's turning into Killer Croc.
Next week's episode of Law and Order. Batman on trial.
Right.
But like all these villains get out toward the end of last season, and they all just get let loose in the streets. They're all walking out there. I'm not currently caught up with this current season, but there was one of the characters that got out is like an exact copy of Bruce. Like he looks exactly like Bruce Wayne, like a young Bruce Wayne, and we don't know. Like,
I did see that.
Yeah,
episode.
he doesn't feel any pain.
I did
He
see
cuts
that.
his hair to look just like him, tries to talk just like him,
He's
and
a
everything.
doppelganger.
Yeah, he's like a doppelganger, but we don't know for what purpose he was created for, or whatever. And he's just been now captured by the Council of Owls.
So Hugo Strange knew there was something special about Bruce Wayne.
It hasn't been. Well, see, this is before Bruce Wayne ends up becoming Batman.
Right.
The whole thing about Hugo Strange is that he was experimenting on all these people to at the request of the Council of Owls.
He's the one that could bring people back to life, right?
Well, yeah, he was trying to find immortality, basically.
Mm-hmm.
He would take all these people who either died or whatever, and he would have them shipped to a secret facility under the Wayne Enterprises flagship. So there's this whole thing about Wayne Industries is kind of a part of what Hugo Strange is doing and everything. And he would do experiments of using various techniques and everything with the hope of bringing somebody back with their memories intact. And in one of the episodes, he succeeds in Fish Mooney.
Mm-hmm.
She comes back with all of her memories and everything, but she has this new ability now where she touches somebody and she releases a chemical into their body where she can tell them anything to do, and then they'll just do it. Like she discovered, she's like, make me a grilled cheese sandwich. She didn't know about it. And the guard comes back with a grilled cheese sandwich. She's like, you made me a grilled cheese sandwich? And he's like, yeah. She's like, why did you do that? I don't know. So she finds out this, and he gives the equipment and the purpose to Victor Freeze to turn him into Mr. Freeze after he tried to kill himself after his wife killed herself so that he would not go down the dark path of trying to save her.
No, this is Gotham, right?
Yeah, this is Gotham.
Why did
she tried to kill herself because he was robbing all these places and getting all this medication for her to keep her alive, and she didn't want him to do that anymore, and he was going to more dangerous lengths.
Yeah.
Robbing a cryo facility and all this stuff. So she killed herself so that he wouldn't do it anymore, and so he becomes devastated. He kills himself, but then he gets shipped off to the Hugo Strange facility. He's resurrected as Mr. Freeze.
Have they shown Mr. Freeze on Gotham?
Yeah, they have. And they showed him in the suit and everything, too.
No shit, in the suit?
In the suit. He doesn't have, a dome.
Is his skin
goes
blue?
Completely over, but yeah, his skin's blue. He's got goggles on and everything. His freeze ray is badass as hell, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically implied that Hugo Strange created a majority of the villains.
Who was it that he tried to bring back to life and it was just all fucked up?
Joker.
Was it the Joker?
Yeah.
Well, he brought back.
I want to say it was Robin or something.
In the video game?
No. I want to say it was in a comic book that turned into one of the animated movies. I want to say it was Robin.
I think you're talking about the video game.
It might have been the video game. I thought he brought back Robin, and Robin was all deformed looking and shit.
One of the Arkham games, I think. It was the Joker, I thought, but maybe
it was the Joker.
Well, he brought back one of the bad guys from the TV show Gotham, and it was the former mayor who ended up he was going to try to kill Bruce Wayne for some reason, and he gets brought back, and he has no memories, and so he's just fucking killing people and all this stuff. And Hugo Strange, he finds the book that he has, the Church of Duquesne, and he's like, oh, do you know your name? He's like, do you know your name, my son? And he's like, I am Azrael.
Oh shit!
So he gave him the Azrael moniker.
But that's bullshit.
Well, it ends up being bullshit because he ends up getting blown up by an RPG from the Penguin.
Aw, poor guy.
Like they couldn't kill him, and Penguin's like, he comes in, he's like at the end of the last season, he's like, Bruce, haven't I always told you? Or no, he was like, Jim, haven't I always told you? Always bring the right tool to the fight. And his buddy Butch comes in with the RPG and just blows his ass up. and Azrael knows it's coming. He's like, oh, shit. Boom, pieces of him just go all over the place. And he's like, well, good night, Jim. And turn around and leave.
Wasn't the Azrael created... Wasn't he created in the Lazarus Pit? The Azrael Batman?
I don't know. Azrael Batman took over for Bruce Wayne when Bane broke his back. And then he was healing up, and then when Batman's back was healed up, he wanted to take his job back, but Azrael wouldn't give it back to him and type thing, and he was still trying to be Batman, and those two ended up butting heads. And
it seems like to me he was a creature or brought back to life by the
Lazarus
Pit. But I could be wrong. I don't know.
Because I remember seeing it, and it was all like a green ooze type thing, wasn't it? And they lay the body in the green ooze. And
I know in the animated series it was like a greenish pit. Ra's al Ghul would go in and then he'd come back out, and then he would be like temporarily mad, where he'd just like lunge out and try to strangle one of his daughters and everything, and then it was like temporary madness.
Whatever happens down in the Lazarus Pit, you don't come out right.
I see. That's why I say I don't know. I want to say it was Robin or somebody that was really close to Ra's al Ghul. But maybe it wasn't Ra's al Ghul. I don't know. Somebody that was really close, and he tried bringing them back to life, and they came back, but they were all deformed looking. Their skin was all wrinkled. Their hair was gone. They were just horrible looking. Maybe it was the Joker. I don't know. I don't know. I gotta look it up. I forgot who it was.
Yeah. So I've going back to Superman. I actually found a couple more versions of Superman. One of them, so some of these are actually quite wild. There was a story to where he was found by Lionel Luthor, Lex Luthor's dad, and he was raised by him alongside Lex. So basically, Lex becomes his brother, and I guess it kind of veered back into what it was supposed to be, because Lex finds out his secret, and then he shows him brotherly love by killing him the following year. There's Amish Superman, who John and Martha Kent, their pickup truck gets a flat tire, so they don't get a chance to go get Kal-El, and the Amish pick him up.
Horsepower wins in the end. We found the alien boy because we never drove cars.
And he's,
God bless these horses.
And he's raised as an Amish.
That's fucking awesome. Superman with a beard.
So, I know that there's things called electricity. I know I'm from a different fucking planet, but, HBO would be awesome right now.
There's Tarzan Superman.
He goes up, he's like, you want me to turn some lights on in here? No, you've become the devil's spawn.
Well, speaking of the Lazarus Pit, you know what I thought in Batman vs. Superman? I thought that was the Lazarus Pit where Lex Luthor was trying to bring back that one... Oh, God, what the hell is his name? From Superman, when he went to that one pit, and he cut his hand.
It was on the crashed...
Yeah.
It was on the crashed... Zod's crashed ship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not the Lazarus Pit.
I know, but that's just what I...
Same idea. Yeah, they probably read some Lazarus Pit stories and said, hey, we could do something like that.
They had a black Superman.
Whatever.
That would be cool. I like that idea.
Black Superman's matter, too.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
There was a High Chancellor Superman, which is the one from...
Palpatine?
From...
Good.
Injustice.
Good, Kal-El, good.
Good.
Now embrace your fate.
Show me that Big Johnson. What? Nothing.
Dude,
you're not ready yet.
What is it with you and dicks?
I don't know, man.
Overman. See, this is... Yeah, I thought there was... Overman was a Nazi version of Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
does have a swastika.
Yeah, Aryan blonde with a swastika replacing the S symbol.
That's my superhero. I'm just playing. I'm playing. Jew lives matter too.
Yeah, see?
That is fucking sweet. I mean, that's horrible. But
Trump's like, we should make Superman great again.
make Superman great again.
I'm gonna put a swastika on his chest. You can't stop me. I'm the president.
And instead of the Batman logo, we're gonna have a swastika logo in the sky, right above Israel.
A German Superman who serves in Monarch's army is called Air Superman. He's not a Nazi or anything in this nature, just a German superhero with a wild accent.
Nine.
And of course, yeah, we also covered Bruce Wayne Superman.
Bruce Wayne Superman would be cool.
Yeah, that actually would be kind of cool. It would actually be kind of cool if they had there's okay. This is an interesting one. There was basically a Captain America Superman.
What? That would be fucking cool. They're pretty much from the same era. Like their comics were from the same era.
Yeah. So basically, they kind of combine the two stories. Excuse me. Clark Kent volunteers to become a super soldier during World War II, and scientists make him a human experiment by using a combination of an enhancement serum and cells taken from an alien spacecraft, plus a supercharge of solar energy.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like Captain.
Yeah, that's Superman Red and Superman Blue.
That's kind of cool, though.
And there's like Superboy Prime and all these other different versions of Superman. It's just like...
Dude, there's been... When I was on the website earlier, there's been so many actors that's played Batman. Like, I wrote down the main ones, Ben Affleck, Christian Bale, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Adam West, Michael Keaton, and Kevin Conroy. He's the one that did the animated series.
Right, yeah, he's the famous animated
Well, some
voice.
people say he's the best.
And then David Mazos, he's the one... He's the kid right now, Bruce Wayne, in Gotham.
Right, okay.
So that's all I really wrote. But there was a shitload of them. And there was people that was doing
What about the
voices.
original?
Adam West?
No, there was a guy before Adam West.
Oh.
You guys ever see the...
The one from like the 30s.
Yeah.
Yes, I watched like an episode or so
Yeah,
of it.
and once in a while you can see it on cable somewhere.
Yeah.
I remember when I had cable, flipping channels with my son one day, and I was like, whoa, it's Batman. And my son's like, no, it's not. And I'm like, yeah, this is like the original Batman. We watched like a whole episode, and it was very, very like, oh, I'm gonna get you now.
Yeah.
It was almost. Was there a Robin in that thing?
I think the one I watched, there was a Robin.
I was trying to think if there was a Robin. I think there was a Robin.
My son
But he had
hates
such a
those.
gay suit, dude. He
Yeah.
had his little ears were like, no, they were taller ears, but they were like a little bit flimsy when he
Yeah.
ran and stuff. They'd kind of like bounce. He had a utility belt that was like giant. And like, no armor, of course. It was just all...
Dude, Ethan hates that shit. Like, we were watching the old Batman. I'm like, look, this is old Batman. He's like, oh, whatever. He's watching, he's laughing, he walks away. And I was like, hey, Batman's on. He's like, I'm not watching that crap from the 1980s. I'm like, that wasn't from the 80s, you jackass. That was from the 60s.
They didn't even know Batman.
Yeah, that's stupid. Batman, that's stupid.
Hey, hurry up, he's about to use the shark repellent.
Right, the shark repellent, it was stupid, but, I guess for the era it was alright. I mean, they're going to look back now and be like, oh my god, how bad was that Batman vs. Superman movie? Or the Michael Keaton movies,
Yeah, I was just talking to a couple guys at work, and they're like 20s something, and they had no clue about 1989 Batman, Michael Keaton.
What?
Yeah, Jeff from the shop, which knows a lot of shit about comics.
But you don't know nothing about...
But we were talking about Ben Affleck, and he's like, we were talking about, him not playing Batman, possibly. And he's like, what? He's the best Batman ever. And I was like, come on, dude, no way.
Ben Affleck is the best
That's
Batman?
what he said.
Holy cannoli.
And I go, really, man? He goes, well, I don't know, I guess maybe it's a toss-up between him and Christian Bale. And I go, dude, original
Yeah.
Batman, Michael Keaton. And he goes, what? Who?
Who's Michael Keaton?
And I go, Michael Keaton,
You should've said Adam West,
Beetlejuice.
that would've thrown
And
him
an
off.
hour later, he was shipped off to Guantanamo Bay for not knowing that.
He's currently still being tortured. Good. We're happy about that.
It's like that one. If you don't remember Michael Keaton playing as Batman, she's probably too young for you.
Where's that from?
It's like those memes that you see on Facebook.
Oh.
Like, if they don't know what this is, she's too young for you. Like, they show, like, a Pog from the 90s, you know, one of the Pogs. Or, you know, just stupid shit.
On the subject of Ben Affleck as Batman, and I want to touch base with some of the things that I have a problem with. The killing. Like, I was kind of getting to that earlier.
Yes.
But Batman's psychotic. We all know that.
Yeah, he's got mental issues.
So the part that you see in Batman vs. Superman where he's branding motherfuckers and going to jail, and basically that's a death sentence. That's Batman. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You kill him. I'm not going to do it. But you heathens kill. That's what you do. So I'm going to send him in there with you, and you get rid of this trash.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to do it, because I'm above it. That I was fine with. Where they lost me in that movie, well, actually, they lost me in that movie way earlier than this, but where I was like, blasphemy! And I was watching it with Finn, and Finn feels the same way about Batman. His favorite superhero doesn't believe that Batman should be killing. And the part where he's just like, the machine guns pop up on the
Bat jet.
yeah, and he's just like fucking with these giant caliber bullets, just like blowing cars up, shooting motherfuckers like how we squash ants.
Yeah, I never
Right.
And I was like, whoa, wait a
the
minute.
Batwing with a fucking RPG.
I mean, it's one thing in the Killing Joke. It is very much assumed at the end he kills him. The lights go off. You hear like a snap. I don't know if you guys remember. You remember the cartoon? You just watched The Killing Joke.
No, I haven't
Oh, you
watched
haven't.
the anime.
I've
You've
seen
seen
it. Yeah.
So how does it end in the cartoon?
Just like that, pretty much.
It like
Snaps
fades
his
to
neck.
black,
Yeah.
and you hear like a snap.
Yeah. But you don't know what it is, though. It could be his neck. It
Right.
could be...
And this was brilliant for its time. It really was, because this is a comic book from the 80s where the thought of Batman killing anybody was unheard of. That Alan Moore was like, he's had enough.
Mm-hmm.
He's had enough, but I'm not going to show you guys. I'm going to leave that giant question mark. So at the very end, basically they're taunting each other, or the Joker's taunting him, and saying all sorts of, like, just rude-ass shit, like, about his parents and stuff. And Batman snaps, and the last page of the comic book is, you flip it over, it's all black. And you just see a cartoon bubble that says, snap, and, like, there's, like, the Joker laughing, and it, like, fades. Like, he's laughing, ha ha ha, there's a snap, and then you don't see it anymore. So you assume motherfucker snapped his neck, he couldn't handle it no more.
It's almost like the Joker wanted the Batman to kill him. Like,
Well, yeah, because if he killed...
The whole point of the Joker was that for Batman to cross that line.
yeah, he wanted Batman.
He wanted him to cross that line.
Right.
That was his mission. It's like, I am going to make you come over to my side.
Right, and my life's purpose is to get you to cave.
Yeah.
To do the one thing you tell yourself every day, I won't do it. They deserve it, but I won't do it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get you to do it. Which is, I really, like, when I was writing that thing, the story about Batman, the Joker, I really, that was kind of the key for me, was the Joker trying to get to Batman. So the story I wrote opened with 60-something-year-old Batman and 60-something-year-old Joker sitting on a park bench together. And the Joker's talking to him. Bruce Wayne has lost it. He's just basically like, he's like feeding pigeons and just like staring off. And the Joker's like, boy, we had some good times, didn't we? And the story would go from there, like all flashbacks of like every Batman and Joker story. But basically what ended up happening was Gotham kind of got their shit together, cleaned up all the crime, and basically all you had was these like super villains left. And so Batman hasn't given up. I gotta take care of the Joker. I gotta take care of Killer Croc. And so he is out one night and he's fighting Penguin or something, and something goes horribly wrong and a bunch of people die. And they lock him up in Arkham for
Batman?
Yeah.
Really?
Because Gotham has become different.
So they wouldn't know who he really is then, Bruce Wayne.
Right, and they're like, hey man, we don't really have crime. It's just these crazy people out here trying to kill you.
Yeah.
And now you killed all these people. You're going to jail.
Yeah.
And so they lock him up in Arkham and they put him right in the same cell as the Joker.
Oh, that's fucking mind.
How fucked up is that?
That's mind fucked right there.
And so they spend like the next 25 years in a cell together, and they let them out the same day together. And so so Bruce just like, he's like become just a zombie because he can't believe this is what his life work resulted in. I did all of that good to try and change Gotham, and then it finally changed, and then I fucked up one time.
Yeah.
And they throw me in the cell with him for 25 years. The one guy that gets inside my head. And that was the whole story that I had.
So that's just kind of like, I don't want to say karma, but like, what do they call it?
Poetic justice?
Yeah.
And so he's in there, like, and the Joker's like, I knew one day you'd be in here with me. And he's thinking to myself, this is the point where he's like, I should have killed him.
Mm-hmm.
I let him go all these times, and now I can't kill him. I'm in here. And maybe if I would have finished the story, there would have been many attempts to kill the Joker on the inside. They put Batman in solitary confinement because he tried to kill him with a spork. That would have been a chapter 5. The spork. But yeah, the idea that Batman just will not kill because that's how he got into this mess. That's what happened to his parents, and that's his fucking vow. That's the one thing I won't do. And now we've reached this point where there's so much wrong with the DC universe.
Well, speaking of Gotham, going back on that topic, have they introduced Two-Face yet?
They have introduced Harvey Dent.
Is that going to be the Two-Face?
Well, Harvey Dent is Two-Face, but he's not Two-Face right now.
Right, but have they called him Two-Face, because of, remember in the movie, they said that his nickname...
don't think they've made reference to...
But see, when Batman 89...
I think they have, actually. I think they did.
Have they?
Yeah, I think in one of the couple of episodes that he was in, he's like, yeah, they all know what you call you. Yeah, they all call you Two-Face in the precinct or something like that.
So this is almost like the Christopher Nolan Batman before.
Very much.
Right.
It's very much Nolan-like.
It's not like how it is.
The feel of it is very Nolan-like. But it focuses on Jim Gordon.
Yeah.
But it's basically showing you...
It's showing you that Gotham is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing
corrupted
but
and shit.
Dark and just crime just runs rampant, and you've got Jim Gordon and Harvey Bullock, who's his partner, that are at the forefront of this, that are actually the first ones that run into the Penguin.
Harvey Bullock is that redhead, right? The fatter guy with the...
See, in year 1, is the first time I ever saw Harvey Bullock. And he's in the animated cartoon. He's like this big fucking brawny dude.
Yeah.
And he's real cocky and kind of stupid. But he's a corrupt cop. Which actually, in the beginning of Gotham, he was corrupt.
He's the one that wanted to shoot the Penguin in the back of the head, right? And Jim Gordon faked it?
Yes.
That's that same guy.
That's him, yes.
Okay.
But in this version, because in the year 1 version, like the guy's just a total fucking loser, and he comes at Jim Gordon at one point, and for something, because Jim Gordon's like following the rules and trying to be a good cop, and he's like, we don't do that around here, Jim. Yeah. And he's like got a baseball bat, and he's gonna like fuck him up, and Jim Gordon just goes, hey, shit on him, and fucks him up. Mm-hmm. Year 1 is a lot of like Jim Gordon, like the comic book and the animated cartoon. It's a lot of Jim Gordon oriented, and how he develops a relationship with Batman eventually. But yeah, Bullock in Gotham started out that way, but now he's like
Jim Gordon's
best
bud.
Yeah, he's the only guy that actually like Gordon can go to about shit, because the whole precinct is corrupt. For the most part, the entire city is corrupt. The cops are corrupt. The chief of police, the bald guy, didn't they just arrest him in this season?
Well, I haven't gotten that far.
Spoilers. Sorry, Dave.
He's been infected with Alice's blood.
Yeah,
and you kind of see him.
He's starting to lose
to develop these powers or whatever, where he can like bend steel and shit and everything. But he's still, as of right now, kind of as the police chief, he's still kind of keeping his cool and everything. And the Mad Hatter is just fucking relentless on Gordon.
What about the Riddler? They introduced his character.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I heard that when Gotham comes back in April, the first episode is going to be him in his green suit.
Ooh,
that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't shown. A lot of times they don't show the outfit.
Right. One of the episodes I just saw was at the party, Penguin's victory party, when he just became mayor.
Yeah, Penguin's the mayor.
And
so they're going off of the movies and kind of like how.
I think a lot of it is comic books, but I think they do take some things from the movies.
Yeah, they probably took an idea and
like
got it.
The Harvey Two-Face, calling him Two-Face in the precinct.
Yeah, probably. I think they took that from the movie too. And I don't know if that is comic book lore too. If they.
Bullock?
Dent. We call it, that was his name. That was his nickname.
I don't know. I don't know if that was his nickname.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they did that.
I remember watching 1989 Batman and
Harvey Dent being black.
Yeah, Lando.
It was Lando.
And I remember not like I knew who Two-Face was.
Yeah.
I never I watched that movie for years. I never made the connection.
Now, did they change Harvey Dent's character? Was it really originally Two-Face? Harvey Dent in the comics?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always been Two-Face.
Then why the fuck did they make him Lando then? Like, that's so. That
I don't know.
Mind-blowing.
Apparently, maybe Burton was gonna make a black Two-Face eventually.
Yeah, maybe there was a plan that maybe in the third one, maybe
that would be kind of cool. Lando.
Because
wait a minute.
Because wasn't the third one Two-Face?
Yeah.
Yeah, with
Two-Face and Jim
Val
Carrey.
Kilmer,
The third one. Yeah.
Batman Forever. So if he would have stayed on to do Batman Forever,
there might have been a Two-Face.
Yeah, they even showed
Lando
how
Calrissian would have been Two-Face probably.
They even showed how he became Two-Face by getting acid poured on him in the courtroom and shit like that.
Did they?
Wow. I didn't even know that.
I just thought about this. 1989 Batman. Remember the cop that sets up Jack Napier?
The fat guy?
Yeah. Was that Bullock?
Was that Bullock?
It was.
No.
Oh yeah, it was.
It was.
No, it wasn't. It was.
It was, dude. He calls him.
It was something else. Oh my god, dude! It wasn't Bullock. It was something else. He goes, "What the fuck was his name?"
It was Bullock.
It wasn't Bullock. It was Art. What the fuck was his name? And he yelled. He's like, "Think about your future," and he shot him.
Oh.
What the fuck was his name? Hey, something. Think about your future. And he shot him, and that's when Batman came back down and finished him off in the pit.
God, that's bugging me now. We got our facts team on it. We're looking it up currently.
Eckhart.
Eckhart?
Was it Eckhart?
Eckhart is somebody. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Eckhart. I think it was. And Eckhart, that name sounds familiar too.
Eckhart, yeah. I think it was.
Oh, now that you say Eckhart, yeah, that does kind of sound familiar now.
But, I mean, it sounds familiar from, like, the Batman comics.
Eckhart, think about the future. And then that's when Batman came back down. Which I don't understand why Batman didn't take care of.
Wasn't it in the Nolan films that Harvey Dent is talking to somebody named Eckhart? Fuck. Oh, my phone on me.
What was, I wonder why Batman,
I don't think it was Bullock now that I think about it.
No. It was Eckhart.
Which they definitely, in that movie, changed some comic book lore.
Yeah.
There was no Jack Napier in the comic books.
I mean, that's a good story, a good little origin story.
I mean, if you're going to go with an origin story, that's a pretty good
That
one.
would be the one to go with. You know, I mean, the Joker is so fucked in the head. I mean, that would be. But then they also made the Joker like 10 years older than Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who is the guy that he fried with his...
That was Jack Lemmon or Jack Palance. Wasn't it?
No, remember when he's like, they're sitting in that boardroom, and he's like,
Oh, we got.
I don't think I like that smile on your face, that guy. And he's like, what if we don't go along with this? And he says, I tell you what.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was that guy's name, though? Was that Falcone?
No, was it Falcone? I'm not sure who it was, but he shook his hand. He's like, oh, we got a live one here.
Does he say Marco? Because isn't it Marco Falcone?
Yeah, I think that's his name, Marco.
And does it when he's like, I'm trying to think now if that's Falcone.
The one that he killed.
Does he say, I tell you what, Marco.
Mm-hmm.
Both these are going to... And I don't have a phone to look it up.
All right, so what scene are you guys talking about?
Because
I'm looking
at two different scenes.
Eckhart is the one at the beginning of...
So it is Eckhart. I just realized, because I'm looking at the script, actually, for Batman, the 1989 Batman, and it was the scene where it says, Jack saying, why, Eckhart, you should be thinking about the future.
Yeah.
And then Eckhart sneered. He's like, you mean when you run the show, you got no future, Jack. You're an A1 nut boy, and Grissom knows it.
You got no future, Jack.
Mm-hmm. I hated his voice. It was like,
So you want to know a cool thing about that? Whoever the actor is, I have Kevin Smith knowledge here. That guy apparently had like a really like kind of high pitched voice.
Really?
Yeah, and so they actually used dubbing. That's not his voice.
Really?
Yeah, when he's like,
you mean when you run the show?
Jack. Like, that's not that guy at all.
You got no future, Jack.
So they were filming it, and Burton was like,
voice override.
we can't use his voice. Don't tell him, but just keep rolling, and we're going to go back over this. And yeah, so they ended up dubbing his voice with someone else's voice, because it wasn't mean cop enough.
Yeah, his voice was really like cracking and dry.
I've been smoking cigars for 25 years. You're an A1 nut boy, Jack.
And then when who was his right hand man?
Bob.
It's like, Bob, gun. Gives him the gun, shoots him with his own gun.
You know, one of my favorite... Dude, I love this movie. We could sit here and talk about this movie all day long. One of my favorite quotes from that movie is when he takes the Batwing and he flies through the... and he grabs the balloons and takes them. He comes down off the float and he's like, could somebody please tell me in what kind of world we live in?
You get all pissed off.
Where a man dressed up like a bat can steal my balloon? That's when he says, Bob, gun.
Yeah,
Bob's standing there, hands,
Here you go.
bam! Just shoots Bob dead.
Why didn't anybody tell me he had one of those things?
That's such a great movie, man.
Yeah, that movie I can watch all day.
I could too.
I don't know. I mean,
but the other thing we were talking about was the scene where Jack Nicholson goes to make a deal with the mob, and they're in that little room, and he's telling them how it's gonna go, and then the one like head boss guy, he's got like dark hair. He kind of looks like Bob the potato chip guy.
Yeah.
The vendor.
I thought he was a little bit fatter though. Was he fatter with the mustache?
No. Dark hair. Looks very Italian. Kind of skinny.
Well, I'm thinking of the fat guy that was looking at him as he was killing him.
Yeah, I think you are. There was. But he says to him, well, what if we don't go along with your plan?
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, well, I'll tell you what. And he says his name.
Mm-hmm.
We can just shake hands and do business. Or
part ways.
Oh, is that in the boardroom?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he has the electric...
Right, okay.
Oh, we got a live one here. It was a hot tub.
That's right.
Dude, that was so fucking awesome. I love when they go to the museum and they play Prince.
Yeah. I had the soundtrack, bitches. I had the cassette tape soundtrack.
I remember when I went to the library.
Trust, do ya?
The
Trust
will
make you real.
Thing I ever rented from a library wasn't a book. It was the soundtrack to the '89 Batman.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Was it a cassette?
I was a CD.
Oh yeah.
It was a CD. I was a little bit older, younger than you.
Shut up. I think I paid $12.99 of my own hard-earned money at a record store in the mall. Those don't even exist
A
anymore.
record store.
Record store, yeah.
Wow.
Kids will never know how hard it is to put one of them giant Walkman CD players in your pocket and run the cord up through your shirt. They'll never understand how hard
try
it is.
jogging with a CD Walkman. It's impossible.
Or fucking putting a CD in your car and hit the train tracks and skips. Yeah. Or you have to hold your CD player like you're about to eat communion for the first time. You're like, don't hit the skip button.
What else we want to say about Batman before we move on to the Batman news?
I don't know, man. I still think Jason Todd is the Joker, or is the Riddler. Robin is the Robin.
Let's talk about Robin for a moment. Was taken on a sidekick. I always thought that was one of Batman's fatal flaws.
Taking on Robin?
Yeah. Because it plagued him his whole fucking life.
The
only one that turned out okay was the original.
Nightwing, right?
Who ends up, Dick Grayson eventually becomes Nightwing, right.
But he had problems with him too, man. Like, he wasn't cut out to be a father. He was not a father figure.
Yeah, but he felt bad because he was an orphan.
Right.
He was an orphan.
But once Dick Grayson gets old enough, he's like, I'm tired of wearing these tights and being your bitch boy. I'm going to go be my own guy. Like, thank you for the training and everything, but it's time for me to leave the home.
And leave the nest.
Right, and he becomes Nightwing.
Yeah.
And that actually makes sense. And then Batman's like, I need another Robin.
And then he picked up Tim Drake.
And
right?
and I remember reading that comic where Tim Drake, he was something happened to the Batmobile, and Tim Drake stole the hubcaps.
Right, I think so. Yeah, I know
Off the Batmobile.
Yeah. And Batman's like, hey, and then instantly starts thinking, I could turn him into a Robin.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. The Robin character is cool, and I'd like to see it come back because it is definitely a part of Batman that the movies have been very hardcore trying to get rid of, and I'd like to see the Robin storyline come back. I kind of thought we were going to get that before Nolan, before all that ended.
I really thought that. I know it's old and shit, but Chris O'Donnell, I think he did a pretty sweet job as Robin. You know, I know it was those.
I think you got a man crush for Chris O'Donnell because if you go back and watch that movie now, you might think differently.
No, I watch it every once in a while.
Do ya?
It's not that bad.
Dude, that movie is horrible.
The movie itself is horrible. Chris O'Donnell is not that bad.
Oh my god!
Everybody on that film was set up to fail. I mean, that's basically what George Clooney, he's apologized a billion times. Like, I'm sorry about that movie,
You know
guys.
what the problem was with that movie, though? Is that they had way too many A-list actors at the time. They had Schwarzenegger, Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey,
Uma Thurman,
Chris O'Donnell,
Alicia Silverstone.
Alicia Silverstone. You know,
that's right. She was in it.
Yeah.
they had. Then who was Tom Cruise's ex-wife? Nicole Kidman.
Yep.
Nicole Kidman was in it. That's right. I don't know. One of the lines that sticks out in my mind in that movie was Alicia Silverstone finds out that Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson are Batman and Robin and everything, and so she gets Alfred to make her a suit, and so she gets all suited up and everything. She's like, "Oh, I know." Oh, and Chris O'Donnell's like, "Oh, she knows the Batcave," and George Clooney's like, "Yeah, we'll kill her later. So let's just finish this first." I'm like, "What?"
They didn't put nipples on her suit, though.
Right?
That would have been fucking cool.
I tell you what, another one of my beefs with cinematic Batman is how many fucking people do we have to tell our secret identity to?
Yeah.
How many people? I don't get that. He goes the entire career of the comics and doesn't tell a fucking soul.
But the movies...
Alfred, it's me and you,
right?
buddy.
And
then once they start making movies,
it was the 1989 Vicky Vale.
Right away. 2 weeks into dating her, he's like, I'm Batman.
He's like,
and then
thank God the Joker came to the door.
Yeah, and then he says that in Batman Returns. He's like, I don't know, was Vicky Vale in the Batcave? I turn around and, there she is.
Mm-hmm.
right. Like, how did that happen?
Yep.
Shouldn't there be alarms going off? Breach!
Right. You get the most sophisticated, bat facility in the world, and there's no alarms.
I think Catwoman even knows who he was.
And doesn't Alfred in the movie hint at telling her?
He's like, guess what? Bitch?
Doesn't the old man say something like, well, perhaps it's time to show her the real Bruce Wayne? Or, I think
In what?
in 1989 Batman. Remember the old Alfred?
Yeah. I kind of like that Alfred, actually.
I think there's a part I know there's several parts where he's always defending Vicky. Where, like, there's several parts where, like, Batman says something, Bruce Wayne says something about her, and he goes, well, she seems like a nice young lady to me. It seems like there was a part where he says to her, like, to him, like he's saying, maybe it's time to let her see the real you or something.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking
I
about.
remember as a kid going, what? You can't just tell some random bitch who you are.
Right. It's just...
And it went, and it's still going on. It is still going on. So then he ends up telling. I don't think he ever told. Did he tell Catwoman? Michelle Pfeiffer.
I think
she figured it out.
I think she figures it out, and I think they both figure out who each other was.
Okay, that's a little more acceptable, I guess. But then by the time they make Batman Forever,
Was it Meridian Chase?
Yeah, and he tells her too.
Right.
I'm like, fuck. What is it?
And then he uses Enigma's device on her to wipe her memory so she doesn't remember. I think so.
Horrible. Edward
Wasn't it?
Enigma's mind control thing.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry, but Chris O'Donnell and George Clooney, that's an okay movie. But Batman Forever, that's ridiculous.
It wasn't. I mean,
They're
movie
both
sucked.
horrible
Both of them were
movies.
horrible, yes, but Chris O'Donnell was a pretty decent Robin. That's all I'm trying to say.
And I forget, Drew Barrymore was in that too.
Yeah,
I
she
forgot.
was.
In the second one. Or she was in Batman
She was the
Forever.
good one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
She
'cause
was the good Two-Face.
I saw
girl.
that the other day. It was the scene where Enigma is unveiling his grand machine
He
and
dresses
everything.
like fucking Bruce Wayne.
And Bruce Wayne just walks over and he's like studying this machine. She's like, oh, you're not supposed to be over here. And he's like, oh, I was just looking how you turn this thing off. And then she just takes it out and then just gives it the power source and just gives it to him. He's like, oh, thank you. And then he goes in. I'm like, that's too easy, dumbass! And then she just pops another one in.
But now we have...
That was fucking stupid.
So fast forward to the Nolan universe, and right off the bat he tells...
Rachel.
What is this fucking dude's problem?
I don't know. I think because he knew Rachel growing up, though.
But I was
Rachel
trying to make a
his
point,
girl.
like, he tells everyone he fucks.
Yeah.
He does. He told Vicky Vale.
Ra's al Ghul's daughter.
He tells her, too.
Did he
no,
tell her?
No, he doesn't tell her.
No.
She just knows.
She knows.
Yeah.
Yes, because of Ra's al Ghul. But okay, so it's Vicky Vale. He tells her right away, and I was asking Nate. I'm like, didn't Alfred? Because Alfred, the old man Alfred, was always like, she's a nice girl. I don't know what your problem is. Doesn't he at some point say something to Bruce like, maybe you should tell her? I think he does.
I think he
Every
said something
movie
like that,
he says that.
and then he says no or something.
But then you
or-
see him kind of like think about it.
and then he gets interrupted or something.
I think those Alfreds were fucking stupid.
The Alfreds.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
those four Alfreds were the same ones, but I think the Michael Caine? Is that
Michael
his-
Caine one,
Yeah.
and the Christopher Nolan.
I think-
I liked him.
I like that one. That one was pretty
Yeah.
good.
Who was the Alfred
Some old fucking guy.
in the later movies? Batman and Robin and
They were the same. It was the same.
same old
Alfred.
man?
Yeah,
I think it was.
yeah. From Michael Keaton to Clooney.
Oh, you can keep Alfred the same, but you can't keep a Batman to save your life.
But that wasn't the director's fault though. That was Michael Keaton. He read the storyline. He's like,
Yeah, it was the
"Fucking,
script.
I'm out, man." This
Yeah,
is a horrible
the script was so fucking horrible. Michael Keane's like, fuck this shit, I'm out of here.
Well, you know what really happened to the franchise, basically, and you're partly to blame for all this, Ralph.
I'm sure I am.
What
Sorry, Tim Burton.
No, seriously, what happened to the franchise was Warner Brothers
Yep.
was like, okay, well, those were great movies and all, the first two, but nobody wants to buy those toys. They're not catchy. They're not fun. You need to make...
The toys were fucking awesome.
So this is how it becomes part Ralph's fault. Because I guarantee you Ralph had the Batman and Robin.
I still fucking do,
See?
bro. I still
Motherfucker,
do.
it's all your fault that they did that. Because that's what I heard. Maybe even Kevin
They
Smith.
fucking went crazy on the toy line with Val
Yeah.
Kilmer and George Clooney Batman, dude. They had so many different fucking Batmans. I wasn't even
Fuck the
fucking-
movies. Let's just push the toys out the door.
Dude, the cars were
Yeah.
the best, though. I don't care. Even to this day, the Batmobile from Batman Forever is my favorite.
See, 1989 Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
that's
gotta
a
go with that.
badass
See, I don't like the Christopher Nolan
The
Batmobile.
Tumbler?
I don't like
That
I don't
was,
like
that
it.
was too bulky.
I don't think it's that cool until the motorcycle pops out of it. That's pretty badass. The Bat Bike.
the Bat Bike.
That was
alright,
but it wasn't a Batmobile. It was they kept referring to it as the Tumbler.
The Tumbler.
The Bat Tumbler or something.
I think
You know,
his
it wasn't-
his Lambo was more of a real Batmobile, I thought.
It's weird that they didn't refer to it as the Batmobile. It is weird. That
Or the
and Nolan
Batwing.
was like, I got issues with the Batmobile. Why does he have to have a car named after him? No, we're not going to do that. We're going to do this tank-looking thing, and we're going to call it
And
something else.
wait a minute. Am I mistaken? Did Batman get in a helicopter and take the bomb out of the city?
That was his Batwing.
That's the new updated Batwing.
Oh, that's right.
But
Never
it
mind.
was fucking
Never
stupid,
mind, that's
though,
right,
because
that's right.
it looked like a plane, but had propellers on
That's
both sides,
right.
so it was like a helicopter.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot because I just saw it was
This is
like
not a
weird.
car.
This hot car. Or, we got him trapped like
That
a
was-
rat now,
Remember,
sir.
shit, the big line from the trailer was, my mother always told me not to get into a car with with strange men, and she's like, it's not a car.
Yeah, so...
And I love it that they're chasing the Batmobile. The cops are chasing the Tumbler or whatever, and it goes in this dark alley. He's like, "Okay, guys, we got him."
Yeah.
like we're waiting for him. All of a sudden,
Yeah, he goes,
and
we got him
it's
trapped
in the
like a
Bat
rat.
jet, in the
Bat
plane or whatever the hell they
Batwing.
call it. It just takes off and like, oh fuck.
You guys know that the Bat Bike,
Yeah.
which I don't know what they called it, one half of the Tumbler, that it actually did work. It ran, but only 5 miles an hour.
Really?
Yeah, so whenever you see The Dark Knight and he's like, whoa, and like, that's all special effects, bro. He's actually on the road going, after you know that, you go back and watch The Dark Knight
Yeah.
and think about it, and every time I watch The Dark Knight, I think about it now, and I think about Dumb and Dumber, Batman on this fucking big bike, and he's like,
Rocky's got kind of fucking cold, man.
yeah, it only had like a lawnmower engine on it or something. It was stripped down.
I didn't like his fucking vehicles in this one, dude.
Yeah.
Or like...
I didn't care for the Batwing. I didn't really like that. I liked the 1989 version. It
Oh,
was just
yeah,
basically
those were-
the symbol.
Yeah.
And it flew. I'm like, that's awesome. The scene in 1989 where he's flying around and
Goes up to the moon.
yeah.
That was perfect.
And then just drops.
Yeah, and there's no real point to that scene. It's just badass.
Even in the Batman Returns movie, they still kept it all the same as Batman 89. You know, they didn't have to update anything or change the car.
In the later movie, well, I know they changed the car.
Did they change the car?
Which are you
No,
talking about?
Batman Returns.
Batman Returns with the Penguin.
It was still the same
It
vehicle.
was still the same
yeah.
vehicle and still plane
Yeah.
and all that shit still. But like the
It was
belt,
yeah.
yeah.
Val Kilmer had the Bat boat. He had the Bat boat, remember?
Mhm.
Val Kilmer had the Bat boat, which was
Michael Keaton had one too.
no.
I think so because he
Yeah.
was going through the sewers. Remember?
Yeah, he did.
He was
Yes,
going
he
through the
did.
sewers to
Yeah.
go
Oh,
to
in
the
the
Penguin.
second one, you're right.
Yeah, in the
He
second
did.
one, and he goes and he flies out,
But it was different.
and he goes and he crashes right into Penguin because Penguin was making his escape in the duck,
Yeah.
and he goes up on the bridge, and then here comes Batman
Yep.
out with the boat, and he's like, "Rah!" and he crashes right into him.
I can't remember what it looked like.
It
All I
looked
remember.
like a jet boat. It was just like a straight black jet boat almost.
Yeah, it was like a jet boat is what it was because he was going through the sewers and he's like, okay, Alfred, flip the switch. And he's gonna turn the penguins to go to this spot for some odd reason, and he's just going through it and then the monotone girl, she's like, something is wrong.
Yeah.
They are going away.
Yeah.
And then he's just going through, and then he comes shooting out, and he gets on top of the bridge and like, just right into it.
What happens to the bear? He just gets up.
Right, he's like, Yeah, I think so. Like, his duck's all fucked up and everything. And Batman gets out and he's looking around and Penguin has, like, an umbrella and he's, like, trying to stab him and everything.
I don't remember that scene for some reason.
And then he's like, I got you where I want you, or something like that, and he hits the button, and then Batman's like, turns over, and then all of the penguins are there. He's like, I brought some friends for you, or something like that.
I do remember
and then the missiles come out, and they start pounding the base and everything. He's like,
which I don't understand why the hell they use that one girl with the really bad voice to narrate everything.
She was a weird character.
Yeah, she's like, the penguins are going in the opposite direction. It was really bad.
And then she just kind of, and it's weird because, like, everything goes balls out, and then everybody just kind of goes away, and then she just kind of slinks back into the shadows for some reason.
The light turns off and she disappears.
Like somebody, like she's on like a platform with wheels, and then somebody just pulls her back into the darkness for some reason. Like she's like some mystical fucking character or something.
That movie was
so weird.
That movie was.
And then the penguin dies, and 2 emperor penguins come out, drag him into the water.
The second one was very strange.
It was. Really
if you remember when Selena Kyle becomes Catwoman, that was a really weird scene.
That was weird.
The cats start licking her, and
everybody licks her, and then she's like twitching and shit.
Right.
How the fuck did she come back to life? And
she fell off of a rooftop, right?
Yeah, he pushed her out the window.
No, I don't think it was the rooftop. It was like toward the top floor or something.
She definitely should have died.
Pushes her, kicks her out the window.
Yeah,
and then she falls like 30 some odd stories. Crashes, and the cats and lick her back to life, basically.
My favorite is when Shrek is like, next time she fucks up, I'll throw her out of a higher window or something like that. I was like, 30 stories wasn't high enough, right?
Fucking like Christopher Walken, man.
Christopher Walken.
I just picture like him and Tim Burton were like best friends on that set because they're both fucking weird.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah. Hey, damn! I have this torture chamber at my house. You want to come see it? We'll have a few beers.
You know this script. It used a little rewrite.
Hey, that's good.
Need some more color.
I just watched Pulp Fiction with my son for the first time because we're doing this coming of age tour.
Oh yeah,
with movies that he
started with Pulp Fiction.
It started with
Goodfellas.
It started with Goodfellas.
Gotta be Goodfellas.
But we were watching the scene where the one scene that Christopher Walken has in Pulp Fiction. Do you remember Christopher Walken in that movie? Yeah, he's in that movie. I remember. I hadn't seen it. It's one of my favorite movies.
You think Christopher Walken's in every movie?
No, dude.
Forrest Gump.
Listen to me.
I
promise you, he's in this movie.
Okay.
But only for the scene. You know, that movie jumps around. But Bruce Willis is a boxer.
Yeah.
And he makes a deal. To throw the fight with the main guy. I can't remember his name now.
Right.
Marcellus Wallace. Thank you.
Okay.
And he makes a deal with him, and then he ends up winning the fight. He kills him. Remember? He kills the boxer.
What movie is this?
Pulp Fiction.
Oh, okay. See, I haven't seen Pulp Fiction yet.
Ever? Oh, well then shit.
I know. I'm just going along with it.
Yeah.
All right.
I just saw the part when Marvin got his head blown off.
All right. Which is one of the best parts. But great movie, dude. You ought to see it. So there's this scene where they show you the Bruce Willis character, him as a boy. They show you like a little bit of origin story for him.
Right.
And he's sitting in front of the TV, like zoning out, watching cartoons. And his mom's like, Bob, I don't know his name. Hey, Bob, there's somebody here to see you. And the kid turns around, and it's fucking Christopher Walken, and he's in full army uniform. He's got
his dad?
He's got like 3 stars. So you think that at first, and he walks over, and he's like, hey, kid. And he's like, you don't know me, but I knew your father. We served in the war together. And he's like, and this little kid doesn't say a word. This kid's just taking it all in. And he's like, your father was a good man. He did great things for his country. But unfortunately, your father and we got put in a camp together. And he's telling the story, and you're like, wow, this is deep. Like, I hadn't seen the movie in years, so I kind of forgot about this little scene. And he's like, holding this watch, right, in his hand. And he starts telling the kid, you see this watch right here? He says, I brought this back from a long ways to give to you because your father told me to. It's very important. It was your grandfather's watch. So he starts telling him, and he gave it to your father before he went off to the war. And he's telling him the story, and he says, and it spent all these years in your father's possession until he got caught, and then he did the only thing he could do with it in order to keep it safe for you. He put it in his rectum. And I started dying, dude. I'm like, I don't remember this part. I don't. And he's fucking Christopher Walken doesn't break face at all.
Oh my god,
it's so awesome. He goes, and it gets better. He goes, and unfortunately, you know, your father didn't make it. He didn't make it out of that camp alive. He said, but he gave it to me and asked me to get it to you. And he said, so then it spent the remainder of those years in my rectum. And I bought it, and now here it is for you, kid. And I'm like dying. This little kid's just like looking at him. He's like 6 years old. He doesn't know what the fuck a rectum is.
It's been on two people's assholes.
For the past 20 years, this has been on two people's assholes in a Korean fucking POW camp.
So happy birthday.
And here, I'm sure you're happy to finally have it.
He probably was trying to make it some sentimental moment.
But it was like that watch was a key part of the whole movie because when Bruce Willis he doesn't throw the fight, he actually kills the guy, and so he was paid a lot of money to throw the fight, and he didn't do it, so now he knows he's fucking on the run, and he's got this girl, this like Russian girlfriend or something. And he comes back to the apartment to her. They're staying at this motel. And he's like, hey, baby. And she's like, oh, and his face is all fucked up. Honey, are you okay? And he's like, I'm fine. And he's like, did you win the fight? He's like, yeah, I won the fight. I killed him. And she goes, oh, you didn't have to do that. And he's like, I know, baby. It just happens. These things happen. And he's like, listen. This is like older Bruce Willis. He's like, did you get everything I asked you? And she goes, yes, I got everything. He's like, did you get my father's watch? And she's like, I think so. And he's like, I can't, you got him, tell me for sure. And he's like, all that other shit I really don't even care about. I just need to know if you got the watch. And she's like, I think so. I don't know, maybe not. I saw it. It was on the kangaroo like you told me. And they show this, like they cut to there's like this little porcelain kangaroo and the watch is sitting there on it.
Oh, still on it.
And she's like, maybe I didn't get it. And he's like, oh my god, you're a fucking idiot. And he like flips out, dude. And he like starts trashing the hotel room and he's like, I gotta go. And he like gets in her car and takes off. And she's like, where are you going? And like, he's wanted by the mob.
Why did he want to watch so bad? Just because it was his dad?
Because it was his father's and
it was stuck up his ass.
And he's like, he's telling the girlfriend, he's like, you have no idea what this watch has seen.
Oh my god.
She's like, I don't. And
spit in my father's
ass. Christopher Walken is in Pulp Fiction for like 2 minutes of an epic scene about a watch being up dude's assholes. Anyways, I got really far off Batman there. Sorry. Christopher Walken.
Hey, Christopher Walken, though.
He's awesome.
Yeah. He's a pretty badass actor.
So, we'll wrap things up with the current news that we've, day by day, crossing our fingers that the DC Universe is not completely imploding from the inside out.
That would be bad.
Nate, where's the newsstand?
Well, the newsstand, according to a new Star Wars book that's coming out here pretty soon, called Aftermath Empire End, we finally get to know the fate of Jar Jar Binks.
Oh my god.
Please tell me he got his head blown off.
Why would you even write those words in another fucking... Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding you.
They're going to reference Jar Jar?
They're going to reference Jar Jar in this.
This is
what, the new
look,
book? A new book?
This is where Disney derails. This is the moment.
No, it's fine. So what happened?
Somebody's hitting an emergency brake.
So what happened to
Why would you even bring that motherfucker up? We won't even talk about Anakin.
Great, we just ruined Jeremy's weekend. Nate.
I'm telling
Thank
you, man. I hate Jar Jar.
Thank you, Nate. Who sees him over the weekend? I do.
So apparently, after
oh, you know what happens?
Well, I don't think it's. I don't think what happens to Jar Jar is central to the story.
Don't even say spoiler. Don't even say spoiler. Who gives a fuck? If you really think it's a spoiler, you're fucking retarded.
Yeah, no.
Just say
They
fuck Jar Jar.
They explain what happened. So basically, after the first trilogy,
Jabba.
he was shunned and exiled by pretty much everybody on Naboo.
Why?
Because I guess
So Jenny's like, you hate Jar Jar? Okay, we'll play with that.
So
he was sent to Guantanamo Bay.
he was shunned and exiled because I guess and he says this in the book too. He's like, Misa, everybody think Misa worked or helped the Empire or something like that.
I can't take it.
So basically, he's shunned and he's exiled. So he works.
He ties his ears around his neck and he hangs himself by his ears.
So he works.
Misa can't take it no more.
So basically, he becomes a fucking clown.
Oh.
So he
was always a clown.
So he'll do like stuff for like kids and stuff and everything.
Hey baby, how much you want?
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, now making his way to the stage, Jar Jar Binks.
And then after his club days, he's all on the street corner. Hey, what you want, baby? What you want? Jar Jar the hooker.
You ever have a gun? Was it a Gundam?
Yeah.
Gungan. You ever have a Gungan penis inside you?
No. You want one?
Yeah, alright.
Cause it's all yours, baby. Come on my face.
Misa wants you to come on over my face.
Just gonna say that.
All over my face, neck and chest.
Misa think that would be great.
Misa about that.
Oh
I
my
can't
god.
believe they're bringing Jar Jar.
Fuck Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Even if it's one paragraph in the entire novel.
It's a waste of paper.
Why the fuck?
They don't even need to say his name anymore. They just say fucking dick face or cocksucker or balls in your mouth.
I don't
beast.
get it, man. They're like, no, we don't really want to talk about Anakin in these new movies, but we'll bring up Jar Jar.
Jar Jar. Rectum writer Jar Jar. He's so big.
But it sounds like to appeal to the fans' hatred of him.
Probably, or to
They want
Like, look what happened to this piece of shit.
everybody's
Aren't you happy?
or probably everybody's asking what happened to Jar Jar. You know,
They
everything.
just they
It's like,
lock
you know what? He's a fucking clown now. You happy?
He's walking the streets in Rodeo Drive.
He's a streetwalker.
He's a streetwalker, eh? He sucks his dick for a living. His first client, Jabba the Hutt.
They locked him up against the wall, and like there's a pile of rocks. Like there's a sign that says, "Feel free to throw a rock at Jar Jar." People just walking by all day. Oh,
Get stoned and throw stones.
Right.
anyway.
So Suicide Squad 2 is also coming out here.
Yeah, some more. What the fuck?
What the fuck? Say it, Nate. I'm like fucking. Oh my god.
So one of the people to direct, who their I would assume would be at the top of their list, is Mel Gibson.
Passion of the Christ. Are you serious?
I totally do not understand this
It's time to change
whatsoever.
my religion. I'm going fucking.
Passion of the Squad.
I don't understand. If fucking Warner Brothers has issues with directors and they can't leave anyone alone, Mel Gibson, who is like synonymous for being half nuts and doesn't take any bullshit from anybody,
Yeah.
why the fuck would you be like, yeah, that's the guy we need, the guy we cannot control whatsoever?
Right.
The guy whose every other word is fucking whore.
Fucking whore.
You call his
It's
daughter.
probably the fucking Jews that did it.
fucking Jews. You see my movie, Passion of the Christ?
He's gonna create some characters. There's gonna be some anti-Semite.
You know it.
Enter in there. He's part of the Suicide Squad.
Some random Jew guy with a Star of David on his shirt.
The Jewish CEOs at Warner Brothers are going to be like, I don't really think that's a good thing for you. I'll do what I want, it's my movie!
I'm Mel Gibson, damn it! You see my movies?
I made the Passion of the Christ, bitch!
Lethal Weapon 1 through 4. I did all my stunts. You know how hard it is to run when you smoke 4 packs a day?
That's
Fuck.
It is such a bizarre, and I saw this on YouTube. one of the guys I follow, like, you know, little name guys, and I was like, oh, that can't fucking be true. And I kept scrolling, and like Collider Video, the title was Mel Gibson in talks to direct Suicide Squad. And I was like, oh my god, it's for real!
That doesn't even make sense. Why would you pick Mel Gibson, dude?
And other names.
You know why? Because Donnie Glover is going to be Lando. Lethal Weapon. You got to keep them all together.
No, wrong Glover.
Donald
Donald Glover. I don't know if they're related. I don't know.
That's his son, I thought. I thought it was his son. Wasn't his son Danny Glover's son?
I don't know, actually.
You don't have to look it up, Nate. It's fine.
So.
It's fine. No,
Sounds like it is. Wink, wink.
It is. We're good. Keep going, Nate.
Fuck
Mel Gibson.
So some of the other names being considered to do Suicide Squad 2 is Ruben Fleischer, who directed Zombieland.
Really?
See, it's
Daniel Espinosa, who directed Safe House.
I don't know what that is.
That's the one, I think, with Denzel Washington and Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds, Denzel Washington's a criminal, and Ryan Reynolds, he works at a safe house.
It came out. Yeah,
and then he busts out and everything, and he like chases after him or something. Something like that. And then Jonathan Levine, who did Warm Bodies.
I don't know that one either.
I watched Warm Bodies.
It's like a zombie Twilight.
It's
movie.
it's a zombie romance.
It's movie, vampires.
If that is ever a genre.
So wait, what?
Yeah,
so you make out with walkers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
So basically, the premise of this is that zombies can come back to life with the power of love.
And he's working his way back to life right now.
Just write him off the script. Mark that name up.
Fuck that guy.
Put Mel Gibson in there.
It's either Zombie Lover or Mel Gibson.
They're definitely going for zombie-esque. There's a zombie.
Any relation? Yeah. I knew it! Danny Glover and...
I don't...
No, it says not to be confused with Danny Glover.
Shut up, Nate!
Well, that's a dead
It doesn't
giveaway.
even say that.
So
God.
So did you hear, by the way, I'm just going to throw a little bit of Star Wars news out there. Did you hear that they spotted Lando and Lando together?
Really?
There's a picture of them having dinner or lunch or whatever.
What
you need to do here is slick your hair back a little bit. You need a little more Jerry curl in your hair.
You need to pack that thing a little bit tighter, son. You want to make sure Princess Leia knows what she's working with. You know, like...
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall at that.
Listen to that Missy Elliott song, you know.
At that conversation at the dinner table. So, I'm just going to play this like however it goes. No. You got to present Lando with style. Based on what he said, what's his name? The actual actor.
Glover.
No.
Billy D.
Harvey
Williams.
Dent.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Billy D. Williams.
Not Harvey Dent.
Billy D. Williams,
He played Harvey Dent.
when they were talking about casting Donald
Yeah.
Glover, a reporter was like, so what do you think about the idea of Donald Glover playing Lando? And he's like, who? He goes, I don't know Donald Glover. He said, furthermore, I think the only person that should play Lando is myself.
I love it.
That's right.
It's true.
Matt Reeves, I think it came out late last week, Friday, shortly after we did last week's podcast. It was announced that Matt Reeves, who did the Planet of the Apes movies...
Is it confirmed yet?
I think either they're still working out the deals of the contract or whatever, but I haven't heard otherwise.
The way I heard Collider Video explain it last week was it wasn't yet, but they were like, it pretty much is.
So what are they doing then?
So
That he's going to be directing
So
what?
he will be directing the new
Batman.
Batman film. Or the Batman, right. So some of the rumors is that it's going to be a multi-film deal. So there's going to be more than one.
That makes sense.
So,
But different Batmans.
they said probably in the scope of Christopher Nolan, a trilogy.
Yeah.
There's rumor that he's going to have final say over all casting.
There is room for improvement, though. They can do something. If they keep it...
And rumor that he may replace not only Batman, but the Joker as well.
Well, get rid of that fucker.
I'm telling you, kids. Collider called it first. There's a guy on Collider named John. I can't remember his last name. I think he's the founder of Collider. He said it. John Campia. He said, "I feel Ben Affleck is not going to be in this movie."
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, I got a bad feeling.
Well, like the new Batman movie coming out, he ain't going to be in it.
It's in doubt. And notice how Affleck has not come out and denied any of these reports. Right. He's not come out and said these are false. I am still going 100% with the plan.
So Batman v Superman,
not a peep out of him.
And Suicide Squad be the only two movies we see Ben Affleck.
No, Justice League is
Justice League, because it's already been shot.
Justice League, but like the new Batman.
But as far as the new Batman, nothing has been. The production hasn't even started on it yet.
So what?
And
new storylines.
To think about how fucked up this is. Justice League was supposed to be a sequel,
right? It's basically 1 and 2, right? So you're going to release this movie with Ben Affleck as Batman, and let's say he drops out. Yeah, let's see. Yeah,
Justice League 2 is going to have a different
Batman, which is easily, like I said before, it's easily rewritable. Just say Flash fucked it up.
Wow, so that means that this is. Is this Batman going to be canon?
I don't think he's going to be Batman. I really don't.
Is this Batman going to be canon with the new Batman movies that are coming out? Like this Justice League, is that?
Oh yeah, unless they scrap everything and go reboot. But it is canon. It's all canon right now.
What about the Joker though? They're gonna get rid of the tattooed Jared Leto Joker.
Supposedly, if this rumor actually turns out to be true, he may go with a different Joker.
Oh God, I hope so, dude. I'm sorry, that Joker.
Okay, so this presents a question.
I don't care. Reboot it all over.
Would you give up Ben Affleck as Batman in order to have a new Joker?
Yes.
You would?
I hate the Joker. Dude, you know my feelings about Batman,
I know you do.
dude. It's fucking Batman. You cannot have a pimp as the Joker, you fucking hipster-loving millennial fucks.
I had issues with the Joker, too. Especially, they didn't even... You guys still haven't seen Suicide Squad yet, right?
No, I refuse to see it.
It's worthy of watching. At least so you can kind of go...
I just want to see some sex scenes with the Joker and Harley Quinn.
No, but I will tell you get an awesome ass shot.
Okay.
Oh, of course.
Awesome ass shot.
Like bare ass, or are we talking thong ass?
No, like almost thongs.
Oh, okay.
I think they even showed it in the trailer.
I think they did.
They probably did. They ruin everything in the fucking trailers.
Yeah, they do. Warner Brothers definitely has a problem with showing everything.
Is Harley Quinn going to be sucking dick this movie? The trailer.
There's a scene in the movie where she walks past all of them.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like almost like the camera's on the ground because you see fat ass cheeks hanging out. I mean, it was almost like, well, I don't want to watch that with my kid. That would be awkward.
Right.
But I would. I don't know. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh, so would you get rid of Ben Affleck as Batman for a new Joker?
Yeah.
You say yes. Nate says...
I haven't seen Suicide Squad, so I don't know what this Joker...
I don't have...
Oh, you don't know.
I don't know how Jared Leto has portrayed Joker in this.
Part of my... I mean, the idea of what they made him into is weird.
Now, if they keep Jared Leto and make him Jason Todd, that's cool. That's cool. Because that's the original Joker. Mm-hmm. But that would be cool with me, though.
But then that also brings up another question. Then where's the real Joker?
He's in hiding, and he's going to come back when Matt Reeves takes over.
I want to ask you guys a couple of Batman questions where we're at right now in the Batman world. Let's say next week Ben Affleck drops out.
Mm-hmm.
Should they reboot it completely?
Mm-hmm.
I think they should.
It's Batman, dude. They're always going to reboot
the only problem is that
do you reboot it right now?
I think...
do you stop?
I think they would lose a shitload of money.
Yeah.
I think they would have to release Justice League.
I think they have to.
They would have to.
But not
and then reboot it after
Depending
that.
on how the first one ended, though. You don't want to leave it until a to be continued and never fucking do it.
Movies have done that before.
I know.
Right, it could be... You could have the Justice League, and then that could be... They could do it to where that is another another timeline or another dimension, and then reboot it right after that with the Batman, probably. And then they're going to have to go the Marvel route. I mean, doing it on their own has not worked at all. So they're going to have to at least get some minds from Marvel to kind of give them in the right direction, or they're just going to have to adopt it straight out.
They better suck that.
And then they're going to go.
dick.
And well, see, Wonder Woman's already going to be out, and depending on what Wonder Woman does,
Batman's in that.
Batman is in that.
They're going to have to redo it, bro.
Yeah, they might have to. So I say you still keep Gal Gadot
Yeah.
because I guess she's just been getting startling reviews.
She's good.
So we'll keep her there. So you go Batman, and then maybe
I want the blonde hair, blue eye Aquaman.
see. Then do you keep the cast though?
What about all the other movies?
Ezra Miller as Flash.
Do you just pull the? I don't mean to interrupt you, but do you pull all? Think about it, dude. This is big. They got no script or director or anything for the Flash, but a Flash movie has been announced. It's been announced by the studio. They have a fucking Cyborg movie.
I think Aquaman movie.
Aquaman movie is already casting people.
What they need to do?
You know what I mean? If you lose Ben Affleck, honestly, I'm not 100,000% sold on Ben Affleck as Batman.
I was getting there.
I think he's good and maybe has potential to be great. I think we haven't seen him in a good story. You know what I mean? So that's what I was super psyched. I'll say it just like shout out again to John Campea at Collider. He's like, listen, I've been telling everybody that's like, oh fuck DC, they don't know what they're doing. Hang on until the Batman movie. Just hang on. Because Ben Affleck is going to make this right. And I was under the same impression, mostly for his writing and directorial skills. Mm-hmm. So it was almost more believable to me that he would drop out as Batman and still write the fucking thing. Or even direct it.
Right.
It was totally unfathomable to me that he was going to say, I don't want to direct it anymore. That's really weird to me. Because that was your turbo boost. That was like, hey, we have an Oscar-winning screenwriter, director who's going to direct this movie, and he's writing it. I mean, now we know that both those things are false.
What else is he really known for? This could have been his main thing. Like, holy shit, Ben Affleck. What do we know him as? Chasing Amy, fucking Jane,
Argo.
Fargo.
I mean, Argo, he won a shitload of awards for, though, too.
Yeah, but, I mean, this could have been, like, his fucking breakout
Daredevil.
role.
What do you guys think
Daredevil.
it is?
Thank you, Ben. You did Daredevil.
What do you guys think it is? Do you think it's him? Or do you think it's the studio?
I think it's DC, Warner Brothers itself.
It's got to be the studio.
Dude, they're so cursed with everything.
Or do you think Ben Affleck is scared of what's going on at the studio and saying, you know what, it looks to me like this ship is sinking,
or maybe,
and I'm going to get off now.
Or maybe he's seen the bigger picture. He's like,
I'm going to see there's an opening.
It's probably a combination of both. Maybe the studios are interfering too much.
Yeah.
This is my theory.
And he's seen the bigger picture. If they're going to keep doing this, then these movies are going to fucking suck.
Yeah.
I might as well just get the fuck out.
Did you guys ever see that Sad Ben meme? The Sad Ben, like, when he was doing an interview and they were talking about Batman versus Superman. It was a meme.
Oh, yeah.
And
you get this look on his face, it's like...
you gotta watch it, dude. It's awesome. Dude. He's thinking, he's like, they're talking about how it didn't do well, and he's like, he just looks sad. He looks so sad. And I don't know, he's got serious personal issues, like he's going through divorce and all that.
But see, with Marvel, Disney is in control to an extent. They still let Marvel do what they gotta do. It's like Marvel's the parent, or Marvel is the kid, Disney is the parent. We know you're going to be good. You know you're going to be all right. Do what you got to do.
Right.
And Warner Brothers and DC is like, DC's the kid. Warner Brothers is the parent. Let's fucking baby this kid. Let's hold him, shelter him, whatever. We're always going to have an input on whatever he does. And it's going to fuck shit up.
That's a very good analysis there, actually. I think with the Batman thing, this is my theory. I think he wrote a script. I think he liked it. I think it was probably something we would have loved.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was probably very story heavy, very different from the fucking Batman that they're trying to throw out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was probably way different.
Yeah.
Even though it's the same guy, same suit, it was probably more story heavy, probably a little more artistic, whatever. I think he liked it, and I think he gave it to them, and they said,
Yeah.
that stuff about Chris Terrio doing rewrites, I think that's what happened. I think they stepped in and said, well, we have this guy, and he could touch that up a little bit, add a few things, take a few things out, make it more Batman-esque. And I think that was the point where he said, you motherfuckers need me, and I know it.
They're losing so
And
much.
if you're
though.
gonna fuck with me, then you'll fuck with everybody.
You don't even know what Batman
I'm Ben
is
Affleck, and you told me, please write us a script, direct it, please. And when I did, you said, we're gonna have this other guy come in and tinker with it. And I think the egomaniac that Ben Affleck probably is was like, fuck you. This is what you paid me to do. I did it. It's a great story, and you want to fucking bring in somebody else to do it? I tell you what, I'll do the fucking movie, but I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm not directing it. You get somebody else to write a crap script, because that's what you're doing. That's what you're going to do to my script, and you're going to put my name on it. And that's the thing. Written and directed by Ben Affleck, and when it comes out and it sucks,
Ben Affleck gets the
he's
blame.
back where he was 15 years ago when
Yeah.
everybody was like, "Fuck Ben Affleck."
Yeah, fuck
And Warner Brothers,
Armageddon.
and then Warner Brothers will come out and say, "Let's see, we tried to help
Yeah,
him."
like, well, we gave a guy a shot that we thought was a great director, but turns out he just had one.
That's
good
how
movie.
Warner Brothers seems.
Yeah,
like
they
it
would
be.
put a spin on it, like, well, we were gonna rewrite it because it was so bad,
And he insisted
And
on
he
it.
insisted on it. Yeah,
I think that right now that
I think that's my theory.
you've got to reboot Batman to the point where it was like Christopher Nolan Batman.
That's what I'm saying. I'm at the point of like my interest in Justice League is dwindling.
Yeah, because you don't
fast.
even know. You don't know. Justice League for me has always been about with Batman and the Flash and Green Lantern and Superman and Wonder Woman.
You should have told the stories first.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Let me get
To make me want that movie.
Yeah, these are all
I don't really
new
want-
characters.
And it's all a big cash grab. They're trying to catch up with Marvel so fast, and they're just throwing all this at once, and it's turned into a giant clusterfuck. Meanwhile, on the other side, you've got Marvel, who has for the last 10 years
Yeah.
has built up to this mega super ultra movie that they're going to be spending the next year filming back to back both Avengers 3 and Avengers 4. They're going to be, I think right now they're in Georgia, or down near Atlanta. They're filming. They're going to be down there they're going to be filming the whole year. So Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, everybody, they're going to be, that's what they're doing for the entire year,
Yeah.
is that.
Getting paid shit tons of money.
Hey, rolling in the dough. And they spent 10 years, multiple movies, building up to this point, to this big payoff.
And remember when we had... I totally agree with you, Nate Dogg. Remember when we had Iron Man, which was awesome.
Mhm.
And then we had...
Captain.
Was it Captain or was it Thor? It was a Captain.
I think it was Captain and then Thor.
And Captain was great. I loved Captain America. The first one was really good. I was like, wow, fuck. And then Thor...
I think it was Thor, yeah.
And Thor was okay. I knew I wasn't going to be big. I'm not really a Thor guy, but it was good. It was all right. Better than what DC's putting out there still.
Yeah.
And then at that point, they started talking about the Avengers. Do you remember that
Yeah.
time when we were like, what?
Holy shit,
They're gonna
all
make a
these
movie
guys.
with all these fuckers in it?
And this was the first time where they had end credit scenes that connected to
Yeah.
the next film, to the next film, and the
And
next
that was
film.
a brilliant move.
And it all culminated to the big film, and then little film, little film, little film.
Whoever's
Big
idea
film.
was the end credit scenes. It's fucking brilliant.
Well, they're also
because there was
using-
one guy in a room
Yeah.
at Disney going. So if we want to connect all these movies, maybe at the very end, after the credits,
Give 'em a
it'll be like
30-second.
like when you're listening to, like how those old Beatles albums would have like a hidden track, a hidden song. It's like, so we put something with Thor and Captain America and Iron Man together and like get people teased about it and ready. Genius, Gump.
That was when they had, at the end of Captain America, they started with, Thor's hammer stuck in the desert.
No, it started even before. I think it was before that, wasn't it?
That was like
it
we found
at
it
the
shirts.
No, it was at the end of Iron Man.
2, I think.
Was it 2 or was it 1? Because he came in with the dossier. Fury came in with the dossier with the Avengers Initiative.
Was that 1 or 2?
What's
think
the
that
one
was-
with the Thor's hammer though? They were trying to get it out of the desert.
That was.
And you didn't know what they were doing. Then they see. All of a
No,
sudden
I
you
think
just
that was
see-
at the end of Iron Man.
You just see Thor's hammer, and you're like, "Holy shit, Thor's the next movie."
I think it is Iron Man.
I think it was at the end of Iron
Was
Man.
it Iron
They
Man?
show-
I think it was Thor, then Captain America.
I think Captain America was his shield. They showed his shield in one of the movies too, wasn't it?
I think so.
But it seems to me like Thor came before Captain America.
Yeah, I think
Thor
so.
did come before Captain.
Because there's a dossier about the Avengers Initiative.
Okay,
and he
but-
looks at it, he's like, wait, Avengers Initiative? And Tony's like, fuck that shit.
Think of like Thor.
And then at the end, there's the Thor's hammer in the desert.
Like in a big crater.
Right.
Yeah.
And Phil
Yeah.
Coulson
Yeah.
was the one who got out there and was like, yeah, we found it, Nick. It's there. And then that's when we got introduced to Thor and Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
think
Hawkeye
of-
was looking over to the hammer when he came and tried to get it back.
He was actually, he was up on top about to take the shot at Thor. He was up top. He was like a scout, wasn't he? With
and he went toe to toe with Thor.
Yep.
This is
Before Hawkeye.
regular Thor, not
Yeah.
not superpowered Thor.
Okay, but think of
Trash.
Thor before you saw Thor's movie. Think of what you knew about him. Think of even Captain America, what you knew about him before you saw the movie.
Very little. I read
Very little.
Captain
And that's what's
America.
going to happen with Cyborg and Aquaman. You don't know shit about their backstory
But see-
unless you read their comics and you're up to date with everything. Like
But-
me, I don't fucking have time to read all that shit.
But see, the counter to that is that you know Captain America. Like you hear Captain America, you know
Yeah.
what it is. Maybe you don't know the complete origin story, but you say Captain America. Oh yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah.
Iron Man. I know who that is. Unless unless you watch Teen Titans,
Yeah.
or if you watched like the animated stuff or whatever, you're not going to know Cyborg. Cyborg. Who the fuck's Cyborg?
A lot of people are not going to know.
Well,
Aquaman. People think Aquaman. Oh, they put the pussy in the movie.
I think of fucking what is it, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy from SpongeBob. Whenever I think of,
I just think like you gotta. That's what Disney did. That's what Marvel did. Was
you got to introduce these
they
characters.
put the urge inside of us.
Mhm.
To, I want to see them together, and we're still doing it because now we're at the point of Infinity War. I want to see all of them together.
And then at the end of Batman v Superman is when they gave Bruce Wayne all the documents about all the different Justice League members, but we already knew who the fuck they all were, but they made it seem like it was something brand new, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then they do it all over
They
again.
do it
at the
all
end of
over again.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, it doesn't
Their
make
version
sense.
their version of an end credit scene is so fucking bad.
It's shit that we already knew that
It's
was
like
going
you
to happen.
can't even get an end credit scene right either.
30-second end credit scene. I mean, Fast and the Furious had better end credit scenes than that shit.
All you have to do with an end credit is make me excited about the future.
Yeah.
That's it. Just give me something. The Thor's hammer. Something like, oh!
And you know what? The end credit is always the first thing you're going to talk about when you get in the car because
Yeah.
it's still fresh in your
The
mind.
end credit scene in Suicide Squad is Batman. Yeah, you do see Batman.
Batman gets the dossier.
And he gets
Yeah.
he gets the files.
That we already
That
fucking
you've already
seen.
fucking seen him open on his supercomputer. Why would he be like, oh? And he does this to. This is so fucked up. You're just saying it. It's like this is so. In order to do this, this is what he traded off.
Yeah.
The real villain of Suicide Squad is the black chick.
Yeah, because
Right, Amanda Waller.
Right, because by the time 3/4 of the way into the movie, you're like, what a fucking cunt.
Mhm.
And she is.
And no matter what version of Amanda Waller, whether it's animated, whether it's on Arrow, whether it's Suicide Squad,
Right.
she always comes off as a fucking bitch in every
the
single
animated
one.
series, the animated show, the movie they did was really fucking good. It was before Suicide Squad, the movie came out, and this was like maybe 3-4 years ago, and it was perfect. It was down to the T and everything
Yeah.
of what Suicide Squad is. It's like they took the cartoon version and just made a real movie because the cartoon version was so much better than
Yeah.
the cinema movie.
So the trade-off that good old Batman does is he decides to be her personal bodyguard.
Yeah, that was stupid.
How fucked up of an end credit scene. What? That doesn't make, none of it makes any sense.
No,
First
that
of all,
doesn't make
Batman is a hired hand for criminals. Because she works for the government, she's not a criminal. She's a fucking criminal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the case could be made that most people that work for the government are criminals.
Yeah.
But, so he's gonna, and his trade-off is for fucking information he's already got?
He's already gotten, exactly.
What?
You think maybe he's setting it up? Maybe he knew about it, or he knows about it already, but maybe he's acting like it's all fresh news for some kind of future plot?
I think it's just a giant fucking plot hole.
It's just...
I think what they need to be doing instead of what they are doing is putting out movies one by one.
Yeah.
And get us, like Marvel did, get us introduced to these characters, familiar with them, used to them, and in your mind, I can't wait to see them together.
See, I think what pissed me off the most was when Bruce Wayne was in the Batcave and he's looking at Robin's suit. What the fuck happened to Robin? You know? Haha, joke's on you. Okay. What the fuck?
And why would you keep that as a constant reminder anyway?
Yeah, why would you keep throwing that in our face like, fuck you, we know what happens.
Sadistic, he's...
Right,
but you know
the
what?
son of his greatest failure, and he's going to put it in a trophy case so he can just look at it.
That's why I'm thinking Jason Todd is the Joker, because why else would he keep that if Jason Todd really did die?
And I agree with you, Ralph, that scene bothered me too. A lot of that movie. There was a lot of scenes that was just one of them.
Yeah.
But I kind of thought in my head, they got time to explain that.
Yeah.
Now?
They ain't got shit.
Now, I truly think that there was probably somewhere in that script they were probably going to reference that suit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's like the lightsaber in Star Wars. Are we ever truly going to know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just, it's worse than that, really.
Really, the fate of DC is up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but minus
air.
Wonder Woman and Justice League, which has already been filmed and is going to come out this year. But it's like, after that, it's, if Affleck drops out, that could be a start of a domino effect. Then, Flash, they still haven't found a way for Flash, so maybe Flash gets scrapped.
Yeah.
Aquaman, that might get pushed back to 2020 probably.
We're finally getting
it's
to that point where we see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's just...
You know what this is.
We're finally seeing, okay, cool, a Justice League movie, Aquaman on the big screen. Finally, we're seeing shit we want to see, and it's just fucking... It's not even going to happen. It's like a curse of DC.
Steven Spielberg, who is the god of cinema.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg made a statement a couple of years ago and said, "You'll never see me do a superhero movie." He said it's a phase, it's on its way downhill, or it's on its way out, and it will be remembered in history as a bad time in cinema. And so he's like, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
But when I first heard him say it's on its way out, I'm like, no, it's not.
Why
don't you go ask the people over at Marvel and see what's on the way
Look
out?
how far. That's what I was thinking. Like, fucking Marvel
10 plus
is
years
bacon.
of superhero movies, and nobody.
But is this the death of it?
This is the death of DC.
It's death of DC. I don't think Marvel. I don't see Marvel winding down anytime soon.
120.
I don't really either.
They've got the edge on everything: directing, writing, acting, cinematography. Everything they've been doing has been.
Maybe this
top-notch.
Maybe this is the point where...
Dude, Marvel is a soft porn compared to DC's hard, sloppy fucking... What the fuck kind of porn is this shit? Donkey fucking
Actually,
porn.
I think it's the other way around.
No, it's nice soft porn and you can still get your jollies off, and then DC straight up... Hee-haw, hee-haw. Donkey fucking.
German porn. Ja!
German porn, ja, big
Come everywhere.
Everywhere, all over the fucking neighbor's
Wait, I wasn't ready.
Just nasty fucking porn.
Alright, maybe you're right.
I know I'm right. I've seen a lot of porn. I know what I'm talking about.
When it comes to porn, I know what I'm talking about.
It's like that one porn with the fucking stripe and the ball in the mouth, and you're forcing stupid shit.
Oh my god, we veered down a dark fucking path.
So you know how I get every time it's in the
Superheroes and
podcast.
porn.
I get fucking retarded.
Even though that's the genre.
I think that's our cue to wrap it up.
That would be a cool genre, though.
And no pun intended. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it before you tap it, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
So that'll do it for this episode of the Nerd Eye Council. Tune in next time. Same bat channel. See ya.
Peace.